Testing, testing. Wildcat football coming to you live here in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes from Blankenship Field. We welcome you into our broadcast this evening on the second night of September. It's always special on Fridays during football season, but this night, this one is extra special. Two programs combining for 180 years of football history meet here tonight at Blankenship Field. It's been 79 years since Clinton and Oak Ridge first did battle on the gridiron, and tonight they renew their storied rivalry for the 61st time. While this series has been unmistakably lopsided in favor of the Wildcats, many to our northeast, in Clinton, just about 9 miles away, think that this year could be different. Wildcat fans know all about the start Oak Ridge has had, kicking off the Scott Cummings era with a blowout fashion win over South Doyle in Week 1 and dropping a heartbreaker last week at Bearden as time expired. What you may not know is how Clinton got to Week 3. The Dragons, led by head coach Darrell Keith, are off to a 2-0 start for the second consecutive season. Their start has been one filled with fireworks offensively. They've outscored opponents 93-14 through 2 games, hammering the likes of William Blount and Austin East. Clinton is looking to continue its momentous journey here tonight as they are winners of 5 straight dating back to last season. The Wildcats, they've got other plans. It's Oak Ridge. It's Clinton. It's time, Mike Sheehan. You've played in this, seen this rivalry firsthand throughout the years. Please describe to us, tell me, Mike, what makes this game so special?
Well, a lot of people know each other, a lot of it, and it's only 7 miles away. These guys, they've grown up together playing t-ball and other things, other sports over the years, and it's this across town Anderson County rivalry, and it pumps you up. Adrenaline's flowing like crazy. The excitement is there, and the pageantry and all the color that goes with it. Both the bands are here tonight, and couldn't ask for a better night of football. A little hot, a little bit muggy, but it's football time in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, against the Clinton Dragons.
Let's go ahead and take a break if we can. We got about 5 minutes till kickoff. Let's just make this a 60-second break. We're going to bring it back and talk about some starting lineups and really walk you through the action as the team starts filing down the steps in just a moment. Let's take a 60-second timeout, and we'll be back with Wildcat football. Let's have a game.
I hear you. Am I your what?
No. Giving you
Oh! You better believe it, brother. We're going to have a good broadcast tonight. I feel it. Okay, I'll make sure I turn it off. My biggest problem is make sure I turn it back on.
doesn't get old, does it?
No, it sure don't. I get excited.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. I'm Alex Myers in for David Clary, joined by Mike Sheehan and a host of other contributors who will help break down the action as it unfolds. We're here on a warm, sultry night in Jack Armstrong Stadium here in the press box as we look down and the band, the Wild Band, has formed a big L stretching from the end zone all the way coming towards Oak Ridge's sideline as Clinton is looking like they're doing the old-fashioned trick of trying to outweight the Wildcats, and I'll give it to Scott Cummings. He's playing the waiting game like a veteran Wildcat coach might do. Captains for the Wildcats tonight is Brandon Hayward, number 13, number 33, Brian Kelly, and number 55, Elijah Israel, He'll go across the way to meet Clinton's captains. As you hear the train horn sounding, the Wildcats forming 2 by 2 down the steps. Head coach Scott Cummings leading his troops down the steps, all 72 of them. Much easier to go down than up them. But regardless, Coach Scott Cummings and his team has practiced on this field with the renovations going on at the track. And so this has been their practice field. He's been here a lot. This is his first game. A lot of these Wildcats have not played on this field, well, really in almost a year. So it will be very, very interesting to see. Mike, this game is incredibly special for all involved. Coin toss is getting ready to happen. While that's happening, why don't you run down the starting lineups for Oak Ridge?
All right, thank you, Alec. First starting for the Oak Ridge Wildcats quarterback, number 2, Peyton Sharp, 6'1", 190-pound senior. Running back, Armani Rembert, number 3, 5'10", 170-pound junior. Wide receiver, Izzy Mitchell, 5'6", 152. Wide receiver, number 11, Will Presley, 6 foot, 165, freshman. And probably the best player on the whole team, number 13, great to have him back this week, wide receiver Brandon Hayward, a junior, 6 foot 174. Other running back is Jarvis Dozier. He's 5'11", junior, 195 pounds. Tight end will be Brian Kelly, 6 foot, 210-pound senior. Guard number 53, Elijah Israel, 6'1", 208-pound junior. Other guard, Austin Hill, 5'10", 185-pound senior. On the offensive tackle will be Lane Malcody, 6'1", 205, number 59. Number 79, offensive tackle, Truett Tax, 6'2", 280 pounds. And the center for tonight's game will be Jermaine Blair, 6'1", 270-pound center, number 78. On defense for the Wildcats, Armani Rembert, number 3, 5'10", 170. Strong safety will be Nehemiah Elmore, 6 foot, 170 pounds. Other strong safety, Izzy Mitchell, 6'2", 152, junior. Eliza Bradley, defensive end, 6'4", 210 pounds. Outside linebacker, Bashan Niles, 6'3", 187 pound outside linebacker. Grayson Hope, 5'11", 195 pound junior, defensive back. Dallas Finn, sophomore, 5'10", 150 pounds, safety. Brian Kelly will be one linebacker, 6 foot, 210. The other linebacker is number 44, Blake Steed, outstanding linebacker in his own right, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Michael Galloway will be the nose tackle at 5'8", 220. And Tyler Perkins will be the other defensive end, 6'4", 230 pounds.
Mike Sheehan, alongside me, I'm Alex Myers. We thank you for joining us here on Prep Radio. It rained earlier, maybe scared some fans away, but the skies have opened up as if God himself is smiling down, wanting to watch this rivalry. The Wildcats will kick off. It's Brennan Pearson moving right to left. The kick is good. It's a good one. Not a great one, but it's good enough to get into the end zone. Pearson boots that one into the end zone, and Clinton will receive first. So strategically, a couple of guys to keep an eye on for Clinton. Offensive linemen with, I believe, 21 offers, many of those Division I, MTSU, Army, Tulane, among others. Number 68, Brett Maddox. He anchors the right side of that offensive line. Coach Cummings talked about it on our midweek show on Channel 12, talking about how that right side is a strength of this team. Another strength, a veteran. Very, very smart player. He's a coach's son, and he plays like it at quarterback. Yeah, that'd be Joshua Keith. Coach Keith's, Darrell Keith's the head coach for Clinton. It's his son, not a big guy. Very, very wily, very headsy. He's got a really good arm. Not the biggest guy, but he plays very smart, and he's got a set of wheels on him. Oak Ridge will have to contain him. Clinton comes out. Zeros on the clock, or 12 and then 2 zeros, as not a second is ticked off here. Clinton moving left to right. It's the shotgun formation. Keith, he's going to flip it out to the left side, a little quick hitter off to the running back, and he's going to go nowhere. As a matter of fact, he's going to go backwards. 3-yard loss that time, as I believe it is Price Davis with the tackle. Early in these games, the first couple of hits can set the tone, can't they, Mike?
Yeah, also Blake Sneed on the tackle for the Wildcats. He also came up and helped out that time. For the first play of the game was a 2-yard loss for the Dragon.
Eris King, the senior, the tailback starting for the Dragons. He's going to get this one off the right side. Nowhere going. I can't name a Wildcat because there's too many to count. A host of Wildcats into the backfield, tackling them for another loss. So two plays, 2 negative plays for Clinton. Oak Ridge defense looking good early. It's going to be 3rd and 12.
Yeah, Elijah Bradley shut the door real early and got a lot of help from all his linebackers and the defensive end on that side. Alec, they're just swarming to the ball right now.
Same formation, 3rd and 12. Deep drop goes Keith, and where does Keith go? Almost to the ground, and he's going to make a couple defenders miss, but he can't make the third. It's big Brian Kelly, the captain, brings him down for just about a 2-yard gain. But, Mike, the problem, they didn't need 2. They needed 12. It's 4th down for Clinton.
Grayson Hope finally corralled him, Alec, and got him down. Now they're going to have to, they've got a 4th and long on the 18. They're going to have to punt the ball back to the Wildcats. Back deep for the Wildcats are Marnie Rimbert and Brandon Hayward.
Hayward's going to have to play big. They're missing a couple wide receivers. He's back this week, but we're going to need some big plays out of Brandon. He receives this one at the 46, across to the 50, makes 2 men miss to the 45, to the 40, breaks another tackle down to the 35-yard line before he's corralled down by a Clinton Dragon, and Oak Ridge will take over 1st and 10 from the Dragon 35.
Wow, I tell you, that was some great moves. You see how elusive moves he made? He made it. 3 great moves that made would-be tacklers miss him, got on up the field. Oak Ridge has excellent field position inside the Dragon 35-yard line, Alec.
Really nice crowd here at Blankenship Field. Late filing in, not a total anomaly here for Oak Ridge crowds. The rain may have impacted that a bit, but still a very good crowd with a ton of folks standing. You may see some images of some bleachers empty, but there are more than enough to fill them. A lot of folks just choosing to stand, as it'll be the senior quarterback Peyton Sharp onto the field for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge dressed in their all Cardinal uniforms, stripes down the pants, white stripes. Clinton in their all whites, orange helmets. Offset formation for Peyton. He's got a running back to his left. That's the Jarvis Dozier. He's going to make a couple men miss, make something out of nothing. He's going to get about 5 yards straight up the gut. Went right behind that center. Mike, with Jai Hunley likely not playing or playing very few snaps at most, the Jarvis Dozier is going to be a guy who we're going to have to rely on. He's going to have to be a workhorse this week.
Oh, he's really good. I'm impressed with that young man. The talent level doesn't fall off much. Not a penny at all.
Not a bit. Good point. 9:37 to go here in this opening quarter. Clinton got the ball for us first, went nowhere, had to punt it back, and after a nice return, Oak Ridge has it in Clinton territory, 2nd and 5. Quick snap, up the gut again with Dozier. This time he tried to cut, and that turf was just a little bit slippery, and Clinton's going to drag him down behind the line of scrimmage. About a yard loss. It'll bring up 3rd and a short 6.
Yeah, that downpour we had right before the game, I mean about 10 minutes before this game started, it come a deluge, and that field is very wet, and it's made it slippery going for the running back.
2 wideouts to the left side as Oak Ridge is waiting for the call to come in from Coach Scott Cummings. One to the right. It's Hayward all alone to the right. He's got safety help, I should say. Hard count to no avail as Peyton tried to draw Clinton off sides. They weren't going for it. Dejavis Dozier in there to his right. Peyton barks out signals, looking left and right to his offensive line. Whistles blow. Do we have a timeout? What do we have? We have something. There's got to be something. We do have a timeout. It's just who took it. Clinton takes the timeout as it looked like Oak Ridge was confused.
Dragons.
Let's take a quick 30-second timeout and be back with 3rd and 7 here from Blankenship.
I think he gave that to the Dragons.
What? Oak Ridge is the one that looked confused to me.
Yeah, really.
It's the Bucks-in Sutri, and all of our scoreboards.
Welcome back to the Fox Insurance Group Friday night football here from Blankenship Field. Let's set the stage for you. It's 8:39 to go here in the opening quarter. Oak Ridge's first drive of the game. It's 3rd and 7 from the Clinton 42-yard line. Could be 4th down territory. Peyton Sharp looks to his left. He's glancing, sees his tailback, Dejavis Dozier next to him. 2 wide out to the left. He's going to go left. He's got a tight end up the middle. That's Kelly. Kelly across the 25. He's got the first down all the way down to the 21-yard line. Just a quick seam right up the middle. Nobody covered the tight end.
Exactly, and good line blocking, too. I got to say that, Alec. But he had plenty of time to throw that ball. Peyton just threw a dart right to Brian Kelly, right up the middle for a big gain. Wildcats moved the ball inside the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 on 20.
Peyton still same formation this time. Rembert's going to come in motion. There's whistle, and there's going to be a flag. Probably going to be on Oak Ridge if I'm making an educated guess, as the coaching staff to our right is clearly unhappy. There's an audible bang from that direction. It's going to be a false start on Oak Ridge. I'm not sure who it was. It wasn't Rembert because he went in motion, and it may have been
11.
One of the other receivers. Wide out to the left is Izzy Mitchell and Almani Rembert. Wide to the right is Brandon Hayward, the star junior for Oak Ridge. Dejavis Dozier, the back. Peyton Sharp, the senior, at quarterback. The same formation. They've gone 2 left, 1 to the right. Now one of those to the left, Rembert, comes in motion. They fake it to him, and they give it up the middle to Dejavis Dozier. He goes forward, but not very far. I don't necessarily love that spot. They're going to say he got about 3, and it will bring up, if they'll change the marker, 2nd and 12 from the Clinton 22. 7:50 to go here in the opening quarter. Oak Ridge with all 3 wide receivers and the tight end to the right side. They're going to bring Izzy Mitchell back to the left side now to set the formation. A lot of room to that right side as they're on the left hash. They fake up the middle. Find Brian Kelly at the 15, to the 10, to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so Wildcats strike first.
What a beautiful play, Alec. That, he just eluded a would-be tackler. He had his number, but Brian Kelly juked him, went right by him, and just powerfully, diagonally ran into the end zone for the first 6 points of the night.
And they were reading run all the way. I'm looking down at a couple of the Oak Ridge coaching staff, and they're showing the fake handoff motion. They're seeing something. Clinton is biting on that fake, and they are not respecting Brian Kelly as the tight end. They're going to have to, though, as that was a touchdown, Wildcats. The extra point is good from Pearson. We're going to take a 60-second timeout. We'll be back. It's Oak Ridge 7, Dragons nothing. Good start.
Yeah, I'll say 7:31. Didn't take them too long. Brian Kelly looked great on that play. Actually, on two of those plays.
And also, original snack was shipping out, providing 100 no game days. Go Big Festival Series. Thank you for it. Biggest fun. Really listen, pick out the Wildcats.
Welcome back. Pearson boots the kickoff just into the end zone, and that's going to be a touchback by rule in high school. You remember you cannot return it if it goes into the end zone. It's 7-0 early. Each team has now had a drive. Emotions maybe people start settling in here. Mike, what does Clinton need to do to try to get on track here?
Well, you know, they've just got to get the ball outside is the way I look at it, because the inside Oak Ridge is playing really tough right now. Linebackers really stunting in there, not getting Clinton any running room. I don't think they've made a first down yet, have they?
No, they had one drive. They went backwards on first down, backwards again on second. Right. Finally got positive just enough to get it back to 4th and 10, and that was their drive. Keith, fake up the middle, going to pass out to the right side, and it was incomplete, just out of the stretched arms of his intended receiver, Wesley Phillips, the long, rangy junior. I'm looking across the way, Mike. We're sitting in the press box here at Jack Armstrong Stadium, Blankenship Field, looking across the way. That's as big of the Clinton crowd as I can remember them bringing, and I'm 28 years old. That's a huge, huge crowd coming over here with a lot of confidence as Keith gets ready for 2nd and 10. Man in motion. They're not going to give it to him. They're going to give it up the middle. There's a flag on the play, but the give goes to the running back up the middle. He's going to get hit about 4 yards downfield, and his lineman assists him for another couple of yards. It would be 3rd and about 4, but the Clinton coaching staff does not look happy.
Yeah, it looks like a holding penalty on the Dragons, but I'm not sure. But it is going to be against the Dragons. I do know that much.
Certainly appreciate the chain gang doing all they do to keep us on track, but they're doing their best to fool me as it still says 1st down, but I promise you that was 2nd down. And I'm assuming it's going to continue to be 2nd down right here as Oak Ridge is. Yeah, they are going to accept the penalty. And so it will be a 2nd and 20 for the Dragons, backed up at their own 10-yard line. So now you wonder if Coach Cummings and Coach Robert Ayers, defensive coordinator in his first year at the high school, maybe they draw up some pressure here with 7:12 to go. Clock is running. Clinton backed up inside their own 10. 7-0 the score. Oak Ridge in the lead. Keith pass out to the left side. He got a little bit of room from the running back, and he's going to be tripped up quickly just across the 10-yard line. It looked like there was going to be something there, Mike, and then all of a sudden Price Davis came in there and just took his legs out from underneath him.
He absolutely did. A great defensive play by Vershawn Knowles on that particular play, knocked his hands out from under him. Something about the skull.
If you hear the music in the background, that means it's 3rd down. It's 3rd and a long, long 17 for Clinton. Backed up inside their own 11. Keith, he's going to roll right, and he's going to take it. He's got a little bit of room. Kelly makes the tackle, and it's in plenty of time. Keith got about a 10-yard gain there, enough to get it across the original line of scrimmage, but they got backed up again. It's 2 times in a row, their first 2 drives. They get backed up on 1st down, backed up on 2nd down. By the time 3rd down comes, even if they get a positive play, they're still behind the stick.
Yeah, and Elijah Bradley tracked him down and tackled him after only about a 4-yard gain. 4th and 6 on the 24. The Dragons are putting the ball back to the Wildcats.
I want to remind you that last touchdown was a ORHS class of 1989 touchdown, as the Clinton kick is a high kick, not a very long one, and Hayward has to run up to catch it along the Clinton sideline at the 46-yard line. So Oak Ridge, for the 2nd possession in a row, will have very good field position to work with, up 7-0, 5:43 to go here in the opening quarter. So this will be Oak Ridge's 2nd drive. Clinton got the ball first. Mike, what do you need Oak Ridge to do to keep that success? They had a lot of success through the passing game. Do you think they keep that up?
Absolutely, I do. You know, the mixture between the pass and the run, and that, you know, they can run that jet to the outside right here and maybe get some big yardage right here on first down on the Oak Ridge 46-yard line.
Peyton Sharp in there. Dozier has taken every snap at running back. 3 to the left, 1 receiver, the freshman Presley, off to the far side, as the ball is spotted at the far hash. And there's going to have to be an Oak Ridge timeout as there's a miscommunication between the quarterback and the coaching staff, and they're going to have to burn a timeout here. Let's take one with them, a 30-second timeout. We'll be back to Blankenship Field after this.
Now, what about the score on this thing?
Thank you for saying that. It'll pop up here. It's just a little bit of a delay.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
There it goes. Now we're up to snuff. It's a great start to this game. I like the way this is starting.
It absolutely is. Back with you. 5:43 to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 Oak Ridge from the 46-yard line. A Wildcat 46 as they inch closer to midfield. The first play of this drive. Peyton barking out a signal, an audible last second to his offensive line. Here comes the snap. It's going to go to the left side on full jet sweep to Rimbert. Gets outside the hash across to the 50-yard line. That's where he's going to be tackled. Looked like it could have been more, but still nice to gain 4 yards on first down.
Yeah, Amani Rimbert did a good job of getting what he could that time. Good blind blocking up front again. Got outside and got about 5 yards. Pretty good start for the first play of this drive.
Presley, Vashon Knowles, Hayward, and Almani Rimbert, the 4 wide receivers on the field for Oak Ridge. You're not going to see as many substitutions tonight. Oak Ridge is down several starters on the offensive side, so you're going to have to just sort of hope your stamina is in good shape as this one goes along. Snap, it was low. They're going to give it I thought they were going to give it. They're going to fake it. Peyton keeps it, and he gets the first down. A beautiful fake.
Wow.
He fakes me out, and we're standing right on top of him. What did you see from that fake? I can't imagine being a defender trying to defend.
Yeah,
that.
me either.
Watching Peyton and still didn't know he had the ball.
That was slick, Alec. He got that inside handoff. It looked just like he had the ball. Everybody, the defense went to him. Peyton slipped outside to the right and rolled forward for a first down.
Jakyron Pendergrass into the ball game as a wideout for Oak Ridge. Still to Jarvis Dozier. Oak Ridge has got a deep stable at running backs typically, but after a late injury late last game, Jai Hunley was a question mark at best coming into this one. He has not touched the field yet, and I'm guessing the further this game goes along, that probably means he's not going to. 1st and 10 from the Clinton 41, 4:21 to go in this one. The opening quarter, rather, as it's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, but their whistles blow, and let's see who that's going to be on. It's going to be Oak Ridge. Delay of game as they had to take a timeout just a couple of plays ago, Mike, to avoid a delay of game.
Yeah.
They didn't want to burn another one there, so that's another one. So now will be 1st and 15. Still good field position for Oak Ridge, but now they're behind the change. 1st and 15 from the Clinton 46. Oak Ridge with the ball up 7-0, 3:48 to play in the opening quarter. Sharp with Dozier to his right. Rimbert comes in motion. Now he goes back to the right. One-on-one coverage. Will Presley down the left side, and it's just over his outstretched arm of the freshman. Big-time wideout. He's got a very bright future. Really their first deep shot of the night. They had one-on-one coverage just a little bit long.
Yeah, Will Presley did a good job, but it looked like he kind of got held up a little bit by the defense. He couldn't get out and get under the ball, fell incomplete. Brings up now 2nd and 15 on the 46 for the Wildcats, leading 7-0 with 3:36 left here in the first quarter.
Well, the good news is it's going to remain first down. The bad news is it's because it's going to be 1st and 20. Another penalty against the Wildcats will set them back, and now the ball is on the negative side of the field, meaning it's on Oak Ridge's territory. Still close to midfield, though. It's at the 49-yard line, needing to get 20 yards for the first down. 3 receivers split to the left. Presley all by himself to the right. Rembert in motion left to right. Going to fake the handoff to Dozier up the middle. They got him set up for a screen. He's got it. 50 with running room down to the 45, across to the 40. Makes a man miss. 35, 30. Finally tackled down at the 25-yard line. They're going to call it the 26. The pressure came, and Oak Ridge had the perfect play call.
Well, the excellent play call, what can I say? And the execution was nothing short of wonderful.
Well,
we've got a flag on the
there's a
play.
flag.
Holding on Oak Ridge. Oh, good. This was coming back, Alex.
Like it was 1st and 10 at the Clinton 41. And after 3 straight penalties, it will be 1st and 25 for the Wildcats. As if we're not careful, we're going to be back up into our own end zone, having started the drive in Clinton territory.
And we've had 3 penalties in less than a minute.
Well, no time's ticking off the clock.
That really hurt.
3:22 to go in the opening quarter. Oak Ridge leading in this one. It's 7-0, but several mistakes on this drive, really before it's even gotten started. It's 1st and 35.
Yeah.
I said 25, and
we're going to have to go to the well here, that's for sure, if we're going to get 35 yards.
Not a lot of 35-yard plays in the playbook. The good news is it's still first down, so you can't panic here, but you definitely need some positive yardage. Hayward goes in motion left to right across the front of Peyton Sharp, and he's going to throw it to him off the right side. A nice little, almost a bubble screen out to him, and he's going to take it for about 10 yards. There's a penalty that comes in late, and the only thing I can think is it's potentially a late hit because it was along that Clinton sideline, unless it's potentially a sideline warning. Mike, that's the kind of play you want to get the drive going after a couple of false starts.
I think he was hit out of bounds, Alec, but I'm not sure. They're conferring right now.
And it is going to be
a personal foul
against Clinton. Though now 4 penalties in a row, none of these plays are going to count. Actually, that one will. And the reason it's going to count is because it occurred at the end of the play, so they'll tack that on. And so after all of that action, Shakespearean type of length of a book we could have written about that action, it's now 2nd and 10 from the original spot, the 41-yard line.
Funny how that worked out, huh?
Now let's just get a few yards here, Mike. Let's get ourselves in position to get a 10-make of Oak Ridge first down here. It's 2nd and 10. Sharp, hard count to no avail. Looks left. Coach Cummings barking out signals. Stacked duo wide receiver portion to both sides. Could potentially target a Hayward one-on-one matchup over here. They've got a blocker in front of them if they hit him quickly. Snap was low. They give it to Dozier up the middle. Not much going there. He's going to stumble forward for about 2 yards, and quite honestly, he was lucky to get that. Mike, Clinton defensive line looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, Caleb Cook come in there real strong that time for the Dragons. Plugged that hole up pretty quick. He only got about 1.5 yards. Brings up now 3rd and 8 from the 39 for the Wildcats. 2:46 and counting here in the first quarter.
And Clinton, I thought they were going to take a timeout. It's actually going to be, it looks like an equipment malfunction. They're going to pull a player off. So play is paused momentarily. Clinton's going to have a substitute corner in. Interesting matchup to watch there as the substitute corner is going to be on the freshman, Will Presley, wide out on the right. Let's see if Oak Ridge tries to target that. They've got 3 receivers to the left. Presley, the lone wide out to the right. Ball is right in the middle of the field at the 39-yard line. Snap is a good one. It's going to go to Peyton Sharp on the left side. He's going to throw it down to the 31-yard line, and making a diving catch coming back towards the line of scrimmage is Vashon Null, and that's going to be right at the sticks. Nice play design there. Let's see if he got enough. If he's short, it's going to be by inches.
Yeah, sure is. I don't know if they're going to measure this or not.
Oak Ridge has had a lot of success recently getting Peyton out on the run. He likes throwing on his run, throwing from the run.
He likes getting out of that pocket and throwing the ball. That was an excellent throw.
And they're going to move the chain.
Hauled it in.
They're going to move the chain,
Right,
Mike.
It's a down.
10-bank of Oak Ridge first down.
Good job by the Wildcats.
And you hear the student section with their horns a-tootin'. 2:01 to go here in the opening quarter. Oak Ridge trying to get some more points on the board. It's 7-0. Clinton has run just 6 plays of offense here 10 minutes into this first quarter. Oak Ridge with the ball 1st and 10 from the Dragon 31-yard line on the left hash. That's the near hash as we're looking at it. Oak Ridge moving right to left from Jackson Square, moving north. Peyton Sharp Man in motion is Hayward. They give it to him. DeJavis Dozier lead blocking for him. He's got a little bit of room. Hayward meets a man for a 6-yard gain and powers for about a 7-yard gain. The ball came loose, but the whistle was blown well beforehand.
He was
Clint's
blown
not
dead.
going to like that one.
Yeah, I think the ground caused the fumble on that. Oak Ridge is going to get this ball back close to first down yardage again as they move the ball down inside the 25-yard line down to the 24.
It will be 2nd and 3. 1:05 to go here as that clock is ticking. And Oak Ridge really, throughout this game, probably wisely knowing they don't have a lot of depth in this game at the skill position, they're not in any hurry offensively so far in this one. 2nd and 3, 53 seconds and ticking left in this opening quarter. Oak Ridge moving right to left in their all-Cardinal uniform. A very classic look here, going against their rival Dragon counterparts. Kelly in motion, going right to left as the tight end. Snap. They're going to run the option left. Peyton's going to keep it. He's got, I thought, the first down. I think he does. It's going to be very close. He needed 3, and he got right at 3. Let's see if they give it to him. Are they going to measure? I think they're going to make a judgment call. There's been no call, and they're going to say it's going to be 3rd down.
Chelsea Phelps did a good job that time for the Dragons, stopping him about a half a yard short, Alec.
Yeah, about a half a yard at most as it's 3rd down here. Power formation. Kelly as the up back in there for blocking probably. Give goes to Dozier. So quick handoff. He's got nothing up the middle. It bounces outside. 15, 10, 5. Outrunning every Dragon. DeJavis Dozier for the touchdown.
That is the second 22-yard touchdown of this game. Jarvis Dozier doing just a super job of breaking away. Good job of the line, getting him time to get outside. He got outside. He got into the end zone in a hurry. Wildcats go up 13-0.
Oak Ridge High School class of 1989 touchdown that was. It's Dozier 22-yard touchdown on to attempt the extra point to make this 14-0. Is Oak Ridge's Ethan Garza. The kick is up. Excuse me, that's David Wilson. Kick is up. The kick is good. We'll take a 60-second timeout and be back with kickoff from Blankenship Field.
Was that the last play of the game? I guess so. Showing 12 minutes on the clock.
You're good. I just needed to change that.
No.
Welcome back to the booth here. Alex Myers alongside me. To my right is Mike Sheehan. That was a ORHS class of 89 touchdown. That's 2 of them. It's 14-0 Oak Ridge with Pearson on to kick off for the Wildcats. That was the end of the first quarter as well, so we killed 2 birds with 1 stone with that commercial break. And Pearson boots this one basically to the back of the end zone. And at the start of the second quarter, Clinton will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Clinton now moving right to left as we see it here in the home side press box. Mike, in a game like this, if you're Oak Ridge, you've got the lead, all the emotions, you're feeling really good. Maybe you were nervous. Now you're feeling really good. How do you keep those emotions in check and continue to keep your focus?
You just concentrate on what you got going on at hand. You know, it's an old hand. These guys are getting to be veterans now. They played 2 games already, got it under their belt. This is their first game at home. I know they're excited, and they're executing very well right now.
Keith, handoff up the middle, nowhere to go, and he's going to be tackled by Bashan Nall after about a half a yard gain and a host of Wildcats. And that's really this is the start of their 3rd drive for the Dragons. That's the first or second down play that's not been negative or 0. So it's the first positive play, if I could get my English correct here. Still not much going there for the Dragons.
Brian Kelly right there also on the stop for the Wildcats. One of the better linebackers the Wildcats have had in years.
Joshua Keith, the junior, played about as many snaps as most seniors do. He's coach's son at quarterback. Pistol formation. Fakes out to the left. He's going to throw a quick comeback to the right side for about 4 yards, and it's going to bring up third down and 6. As Clinton player continued Clinton player continued to run towards the end zone, but the reason he was not tackled is because the whistle was blown, and Oak Ridge's Brian Kelly, who made the stop, decided to let go when he heard the whistle.
Yeah, he held him up, had him stop. They blew the whistle. So it's coming up 3rd and 5 now for the Dragons from their own 25-yard line.
10:50 to go here in the second quarter. Clinton got it. They have not gotten a first down yet. If I break the jinx right here, that's on me. 3rd and 6. Can they do it here? Keith, lone man in the backfield. Nowhere to go with it, so he's going to keep it. He's going to pitch it forward. That's a forward pass, and he was across the line of scrimmage, but they're not going to call it. He goes past the first down, and that's about a 10-yard gain. A really nice play, but the problem was, Mike, he was in front of he was in front of the
back judge.
Yeah,
missed that call.
Yeah, he was past the line of
I
scrimmage
agree
when he
with you.
flipped it forward. If
The back judge's angle wasn't very good.
Well, if he'd have flipped it backwards, it wouldn't have been a problem. But the problem was it was a forward pass. They didn't catch it. There's no replay. The show goes on. Clinton gets their first down of the evening, and they've got it up to their 39-yard line. Best field position of the night easily for them. Run off the left side. That one is blasted that time after a 5-yard gain. Bryce Davis comes up and absolutely wallops Jawan Goins. Goins, a guy with a lot of talent.
Bryce Davis put a hammer on him, I'm telling you.
His Oak Ridge corners.
He knocked him backwards.
His Oak Ridge corners, Mike, they play very, very strong. They play a lot bigger than they really are. As Bryce actually is playing safety tonight. Hayward scooted over. I think because of a size mismatch, he scooted over to play the far side corner. Clinton with it, 2nd and a long 4. Out of the shotgun goes Keith. Quick pass to the right side. Nowhere to go. The ball's on the right. Who has it? There's a scramble for it.
I think the Wildcat
has it. I think I can. And who has it?
The Wildcat.
The Cardinal in gray, Mike. Oak Ridge recovers the fumble. Clinton finally gets some momentum, and just like that, it's a race. Let's take a 30-second timeout. We'll come back. It'll be Oak Ridge ball up 14-0.
I think Grayson Hope recovered it. I'm pretty sure number 23.
Grayson Hope, you said? Grayson Hope.
Grayson Hope. He's the one that recovered that fumble. Hope.
Quick snap off the Wildcats go to the left side. It's Dozier. Gets hit about 3 yards into the play, but he's going to fight for it and get a gain of about 6. Well, these running backs don't stop fighting, do they? There's a flag on the play. I'm not shocked. There's been a lot early, and unsurprisingly, this one is on the Wildcats. I want to give a shout-out to Grayson Hope, Mike Sheehan. You've got the binoculars. I don't. You said that's who you think came up with that loose ball and gave Oak Ridge possession back. So once again, Oak Ridge will have a second shot at first down after they're going to be penalized. Is it going to be 5 yards or 10? It's going to be 10 yards. So it'll be 1st and 20 off a holding. 9:18 to go here. Clock starts as the referee signals his arm here in the second quarter. It's 14-0. Wildcats on top. Peyton Sharp calls out signals to his offensive line. He goes backwards towards his running back, who's just behind him. He's going to bring Dozier to his left hip. 3 wide outs to the right, and he's going to look that way. He fakes, looks up the middle. He's got a diving Izzy Mitchell, who makes the catch across the original line of scrimmage. A gain of 11. Almost a shortened post route. Peyton looked like he was going to hesitate, but he found Izzy, and Izzy made a diving catch.
He certainly did. He went down there and got that ball. It was way low, but he adjusted and got it and gave the Wildcats yet another first down.
They're going to quickly go to the line of scrimmage, but Oak Ridge is being patient offensively between plays. A little too patient a couple of times, but so far it's working. It's 14-0. Wildcats across midfield now into Dragon territory. 2 wideouts to either side. Dozier, the running back, alongside Peyton Sharp. who's barking out signals. 8:15 to go here in the second quarter. Play clock's down to 5, 4, 3. They get the snap off just in time. Sharp, deep drop. He's got a man across the middle. It's Dozier. He drops the ball. He had him across. It wasn't the greatest throw, but to Peyton's credit, it was kind of where he had to throw it, because if he led Dozier, he was going to either get him hit or it was going to be an interception. So wasn't the greatest throw. Dozier tried to make an adjustment. He just couldn't quite get it.
Yeah, Wesley Phillips for the Dragons broke that play up right there at the last second. He came in and made a very good defensive play. Brings up now 3rd and 8 for the Wildcats on the Clinton 47.
8 minutes to go in this one. Before halftime, Oak Ridge with a 2-touchdown lead here against the rival Clinton. Both of these teams, Clinton 2-0, Oak Ridge 1-1. Sharp gets a snap, fakes like he's going to go right, and gives it back to Dozier. Makes one miss in the back, miss in the backfield, makes another miss, runs over a third, but can't break that tackle. Gets a couple yards, but not enough, as he needed 8 and he got about 3. There's a Clinton Dragon shaken up in the backfield.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a quick 30-second timeout. When we come back, it'll be 4th down coming up. Let's take a 30-second timeout. Dylan Spurlock, the defender, shaken up for the Dragons. Hope he's going to be okay. He was walked off, wasn't down too long, but definitely had to have some assistance. So hopefully he'll be all right, be able to come back very shortly. It's 4th and 6. Oak Ridge is not going to roll the dice here. They're going to send the punter out. It will be Brandon Pearson. Ball is at the 46 of Clinton. Pearson is at Oak Ridge's 41, a deep drop. Oak Ridge has had some close calls with blocked punts. Let's see if they get this one off clean. They do. Clinton, not a hard rush, and he boomed that one. Pearson did, and he can't get the bat spin going as it landed at the 3 and never had a shot to roll backwards. So a net gain of about, 21 yards on that kick?
Yeah, exactly right.
7:23 to go here in the second quarter. Oak Ridge on top 14-0. This will be Clinton's 4th drive. They've got 1 first down, I believe, maybe 2 in the entire game so far. Oak Ridge's defense has looked very good, very comfortable. Clinton's offense has not.
Yeah, they've really been swarming to the ball, and their tackling has been very good tonight. They're shedding those blocks real well, getting in there early, and giving the Dragons fits. So hopefully they can maintain this pressure up here to halftime, leading 14-0. 7 minutes and 23 seconds left here in the second quarter.
Elijah Bradley, Tim Waters, and Tyler Pickens, the 3-down lineman for the Wildcats, as Clinton takes this snap on first down. There's a gap, and the running back hits it. Nice little 6-yard gain to start the drive. That's by far the best play on first down the Dragons have had all night.
Yeah, it was. Deshaun Niles there on the stop for the Wildcats from his linebacker position. He had to come a long ways to make that tackle, and not before he gained 8 yards on that carry.
Oak Ridge running a 3-4 defense this year under first-year defensive coordinator Robert Ayers. He came over from the Catholic Fighting Irish staff a year ago. This time a run up the middle, and Oak Ridge fixed whatever problem they had on last play because there was nowhere to go.
They definitely did. I'll tell you, Oak Ridge looked good on that particular play. Brian Kelly on the stop.
They're going to call it 3rd. Well, they're going to actually give him a yard. I don't know about that. But it'll be 3rd and a long one with 6:32 to go here in the second quarter. Clinton trailing by 2 touchdowns at their own 29-yard line, trying to get to the 30 for the first down. Quick snap, and before the snap happened, actually, a big-time offsides from Clinton. It was their wide receiver on the near side who jumped. And it looked like Lucas Kendall, the senior, and he was going straight down the field. But you got to wait to the ball snap. And so what looked like a promising 3rd and 1 for Clinton is now a 3rd and a long 6. Backed up to their own 23-yard line, would no doubt have to punt if they're unable to get any yards here. Their punter has been an active fellow so far in this one. 6:20 to go in the first quarter. 3rd and 6. Keith in the backfield. Erise King, the talented senior, to his left. Snap, rolls left as Keith. Got a man at the 40, and he's caught it. Steps out of bounds at the 41. As the Wildcats just gave him a little too much space. Lucas Kendall, you know, Mike, that's the guy who just jumped off sides a minute ago. False start for the Clinton Dragons, who backed him up. He made up for it that time.
Yeah, he did. He made a great move that time and made a great catch and got on up the field for the Dragon first down.
I'm telling you, Josh Keith has not used his legs very much. I think just one time in this one, and he technically threw a pass after he had started running. So even on that one, he really didn't keep it. He is a weapon with his legs. You got to stay at home if you're Oak Ridge's defense. 1st and 10 for the Dragons on the near hash. Fake handoff up the middle. Keith going to look right. High throw, but he's got a man across the 40 down to the 45, and he's going to be wrapped up and wrestled down after an 8-yard gain at the 49-yard line. So up near midfield, the Dragons trying to get into Oak Ridge territory here if they can get just a yard or two. Oak Ridge not getting a lot of pressure, but I think part of that is due to Clinton's ability. Oak Ridge knows they've got a running quarterback. They can't get too far upfield, and Clinton's doing a pretty good job of getting these throws out pretty quickly.
Yeah, they are. And Oak Ridge is running real well with their linebackers and their safeties to these receivers once they catch that pass.
Oak Ridge faked pressure. Now their linebackers are going to bring it back. Handoff up the middle, makes a couple of guys miss, and it is Jawan Goins, the junior, who takes the ball right up behind the center and kind of squirms his way for a first down. Smart run, not a real highlight type of run, but that's the runs you need to keep the chains moving.
Yeah. You know, the Dragons have really settled down now. They're executing their offense much smoother than they were earlier here in the second quarter.
They are. Looks like the emotions maybe have settled down, and they're playing Dragon football as it's 1st and 10 from the Oak Ridge 45-yard line. Snap, Keith looking back, dropping. He's going to throw into double coverage, and the ball is nearly caught. It falls harmlessly into the ground, thank goodness, because 2 Wildcats went for the interception. It was Brandon Hayward and Bashan Knowles. Mike, one of those guys can go for that interception. If they both go for it, they leave a man wide open, and that's what happened. But thankfully, that pass was about an inch too high.
Exactly. And Brandon Hayward tipped that ball, Alec, just as it got to the receiver, or that would have been a catch.
Hayward and Vashawn Knowles a little bit shaken up. We're going to have a timeout on the field. Let's take a quick one with them. 30-second timeout, and we'll be back to Blankenship Field.
I think they ran into each other.
I'm thinking so. Otherwise, there's no reason because they shake ground.
If Brandon had tipped that ball, that would have been a touchdown. Because he had a beat on him. Dandy crap. Really good.
It was actually Dallas Frent who was shaken up on the play along with Hayward, and Frent is going to be helped off to the sideline. Hopefully he's going to be all right, as Oak Ridge is going to have to get Andrew Ferreira in there to help make up for Frent's absence. In the meantime, it's 2nd and 10. Clinton at – now they've backed the ball up. I don't know if there was a penalty or what, but they backed it up. It's going to be 2nd and 20. I'm not sure.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. I never saw a flag. There was never an announcement from the public address system. I'm not sure, but it's 2nd and 26. Somehow, Clinton backed up into their own territory now. Keith, quick roll out to the right. They're going to give a mine into the flats. 5-yard gain, crosses to a 7-yard gain before the guy is blasted by Hayward, and there's a late hit. I don't know about that one. I didn't think he was out of bounds, but apparently he was. The official's going to throw that play. And you got to be smarter than that, because all of a sudden Oak Ridge had Clinton backed up 3rd and long after that play, and now, Mike, they're gonna maybe get a first down here.
It's going to be close to the first down. If it's a personal foul, which I think it is, a late hit out of bounds maybe, but it's going against the Wildcats, and it's a 15-yarder, Alec. That hurt.
Hayward, a guy who got a personal foul or 2 in that first game, missed last week. Very apologetic. By all accounts, was a phenomenal teammate all last week, even when he wasn't playing, doing his best in practice to keep his teammates motivated. And boy, he gave a motivational speech after last week's loss, the huddle, saying it's on me, guys. That won't happen again. And he gets called with a personal foul there. Let's see. He's the type of guy that can easily make up for it, the athlete he is. It's 2nd and 5 for the Dragons into Oak Ridge territory. Keith, fake handoff, roll out left. He's going to launch a bomb down the left side. At the 10-yard line is Clinton, and Izzy Mitchell's there to break up the fit. Izzy Mitchell broke the pass up, and there's a flag at the 10-yard line, and I'm not sure what this is because unless it happened way early on, it couldn't have been on Izzy. Izzy was turned backwards looking toward the quarterback, and he was in front of the Clinton receiver. So my only guess is this could be a push-off on Clinton, and Mike Sheehan, that's what it was.
That's exactly right. And that
Great.
was exactly the right call.
Tremendous.
Izzy Mitchell got pushed.
Tremendous coverage from Izzy that time. He's undersized at the corner, but he does not play like it.
He would have intercepted that pass if he hadn't been pushed, I feel like. But he had a beat on that ball, Alec. And the offensive end for the Dragons had to become a defender, and he had to push him in order to make a play, and that's exactly what happened. So brings up now 2nd and 19 from the Dragons from their own 46.
4:32 to go before halftime. Oak Ridge with a 14-0 lead. Keith all alone in the backfield. Shotgun. Got all day to run, and he does. Across the 50, down to the 45, where he's tackled by Brian Kelly. And after that scramble, it's still going to be 3rd and long. It'll be 3rd and right at 10 from the Oak Ridge 45-yard line. Mike, if you don't get, are you playing for 4-down territory if you're Coach Keith right now, knowing you're down 2 scores, knowing this is by far the best drive you've had?
Yeah, they definitely are. They want to get in the end zone here before halftime, Alec, with 4:02 and counting here in the second quarter.
Let's see what Coach Darrell Keith has his Dragons do. He looks a little bit reminiscent of Bear Bryant with his Bear Bryant-esque fedora hat on the opposing sideline. He's done a nice job with the Dragons since he took over a few years ago. His son takes a snap, looks across the middle, fires a dart, but there was nobody home, and it's going to bring up 4th and 10. Now, I thought about maybe 4-down territory if you gained a few yards but didn't get the first down. That time they gained none, and Clinton staff member or player, someone on the far sideline, really away from the entire coaching staff just got flagged for a penalty. And so I thought it was going to be 4-down territory, but Mike, I don't think it's going to be because they're going to be backed up. It's going to be 4th and 10 before the penalty. And let's see what the penalty is. They're having a discussion with Coach Scott Cummings, and of course he will accept this penalty.
Oh, yeah.
And it's some sort of jawing because after the official on the Clinton sideline, nearest to the sideline, threw the flag, he pointed right at the direction. There was a couple players and one guy in an orange polo, and I'm not sure who it was on. Regardless, Mike, if you're not even in the game, you cannot cost your team like that.
No, that wasn't a good play at all for the Dragons. That penalty is really going to hurt them. It's going to back them up again, and nobody in the Clinton side is very happy at all.
On the field, there we go. They switched it to 4th down. I thought that's what it should be. It is 4th down. 4th in a long 25 yards.
40.
And they're going to have to bring out the punt unit inevitably. 3:37 left to go in this ball game, or in this first half, excuse me. Oak Ridge with a 2-touchdown lead, leading 14-0. Goins into punt for Clinton.
He's going to have to punt from his own 26-yard line
Hayward
back to the Wildcats. So we're going to get pretty good field position out of this. And we still got plenty of time, 3:37 left here in the first half.
You would think pretty good field position as Rimbert and Hayward back deep for the Wildcats. You got to watch the fake here, but I don't think that they would do that in this field position. 3:37 to go as the clock starts. The snap is off. Punt is a high one, not a deep one, but it's a pretty good one. As Hayward's going to bobble it and fumble it. The ball's on the ground. I think Clinton has it. Who has it? Who's going to come out of there as Hayward dropped it? He fair caught it, but he didn't complete the catch. Clinton's pointing, but the referees aren't. They pointed to Oak Ridge. Clinton is not happy. Us in the booth, we sure are.
Well, we couldn't see from up here. Obviously, he got on top of it. I don't know how, but it sure looked like the Dragons got it from my vantage point.
Brandon Hayward nearly with a mistake, but somebody on the bottom of that pile, unbeknownst to us, saved his bacon on that one because Clinton was on the ball at one point. Regardless, Oak Ridge gets the ball back. 3:23 to go here in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line.
Good defense again by the Wildcats, holding them on that play.
Well, Clinton kind of held themselves Really, both teams have been a little bit sloppy, as you might expect in a closely contested rivalry game like this one. Peyton Sharp back at quarterback. To his right is Dozier. To his left is Kelly. Kelly going to block up the middle. The handoff goes to Dozier. Makes one man miss. Cannot make a second or a third. And they're going to wrap him up and swallow him for a loss of 2. They're going to say only a loss of 1 as his forward progress was stopped. Mike, everything that Oak Ridge was doing well from the run game in the first quarter, the second quarter, Clinton's defensive line has sort of shored those holes up, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. William Taylor, linebacker for the Dragons that time, did an excellent job on that play, and they lost the yard, second down and 11.
Oak Ridge wisely in no particular hurry here, because if you don't get a first down, don't do anything with the ball. You don't want to give Clinton the ball back with too much time left. 35 seconds left on the play clock, 2:41 to go on the game clock. Oak Ridge can take a lot more time if they choose. They choose not to. Peyton Sharp looking right. He's got one-on-one coverage. Brandon Hayward, jump ball, and he nearly had it, but he dropped it. Nice coverage by Jeremiah Lee, the sophomore, making a big play for the Dragons, as that would have been a huge gain for Oak Ridge. More times than not, Hayward's going to win a jump ball, but that was a really good play by the Clinton defender.
Yes, it was. And, it was a great defensive play. The ball was underthrown a little bit. Brandon had to try to come back, and he couldn't get back in time, and the defender knocked the ball harmlessly down. Brings up second down and 11 now for the Wildcats from their own 30-yard line.
Perhaps it does, perhaps it doesn't. There's a flag that I'm just now seeing. It's going to be offsetting personal fouls.
Oh.
And it was near the Clinton sideline, so I'm going to guess it was whatever receiver was on that far side. It could have been. It was obviously on both sides, and so it's going to offset, and they'll just say that's a scratch. The play was over with.
Timeout, Oak Ridge.
The play was over with, so it will go to third down. Oak Ridge is going to get several substitutions into the game now. A couple of fresh wideouts in there as Pendergrass is into the ball game alongside Presley and Izzy Mitchell, who's made one diving catch already. Can he make a big play here on third down? Hayward out of the game. Handoff left side. They tried to fake motion to the right, and they handed it to Dozier left, and he's going to get tackled in the backfield right about the line of scrimmage, we'll say. It'll be fourth and 11. Clinton choosing, interestingly, not to call a timeout, and Oak Ridge is just going to let this clock tick as there's 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second quarter. 4th and 11 from the Oak Ridge 30. The Wildcats are going to have to punt, and Oak Ridge is not even having a punt unit out here right now, so I wonder if Oak Ridge may kick this thing all the way down to 0 and just call a timeout, because theoretically they probably don't need that timeout right here. Both teams with 2 timeouts. And Clinton, are they finally going to call one? Somebody called a timeout. Who was it? Clinton. Really, really strange to let about 20 seconds tick off the time. Let's keep it right here, Mike. We've gone to commercial every time there's been a break. Let's keep it right here. 1:46 on the clock. Oak Ridge will punt from their own 30. Depending on how good of a punt is, Clinton will probably have pretty decent field position, but they'll probably be around their own 30 or 40-yard line with 1:40 or so to go. What's your advice to Oak Ridge's defense, knowing the time, the situation that we're in right here?
Well, they just need to cover the ball right now. Get down there, concentrate on holding the Dragons back, further up the field. Make them have the whole field to be able to score here with the first half coming to a close, 1:46 left. Like you said, by the time they get the ball, they're not going to have much more than a minute to get the ball into the end zone. Hopefully the Wildcat defense can cover this for the next minute and 46 seconds.
4th and 11. Pearson standing with his heels at his 17-yard line. Good snap, good punt. It's going to be a spiraling punt. Actually wasn't very long, but it's going to take a nice Oak Ridge bounce. Hits at the 39, and it's going to roll all the way down to the 29-yard line. So just as we called it, starting field position about the 30-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Dragons from their own 29-yard line. The good part about that punt rolling so much, not only did it gain yardage for the Cats, but it also ticked about 14 seconds off the clock. It's 1:31 to go here in the first half. Clinton down 14-0. And the clock scoreboard shows 2 timeouts, but Clinton just called another one, so they should have 1 timeout remaining. Trying to go 71 yards with 91 ticks on the clock before halftime. Oak Ridge kicked the ball off to Clinton first, and boy, oh boy, would they love to go into halftime knowing they're receiving to start the second half with a 2-score lead. Clinton has other plans. Let's see what they can do here. Keith into the backfield, the big burly running back, the junior, Juwan Goins, right behind him. Keith, 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. He's going to hand off up the middle. Running back Goins going to bounce it to the right side. He's going to make a couple of men miss, and a great run there for about 15 yards, and all of a sudden you think maybe Clinton's just going to be happy to run out the clock, and no, they're not at this point, because that's a 1st and 10 Dragons. They're up near midfield. It's going to be 1st and 10.
Juwan Goins just about got away that time.
1st and 10
he
from
eluded.
the 46-yard line, as Clinton still same formation, 2 wide receivers left, 2 to the right. He's going to fire one left, and Price Davis blasted the receiver after the ball went through his hands. And it wasn't a great throw. It was a little bit behind the wide receiver, but again, it's kind of where it had to be.
Lucas Kendall took a shot just as he caught that ball. Great defense by the Wildcats to stifle that pass. Now falls harmlessly incomplete, breaking up 2nd down and 10 on the 46 for the Clinton Dragons with time running out here in the second quarter. Wildcats up 14-0.
Clock stopped after that incompletion. There's 1:10 to go here. 2nd and 10 from the Clinton Dragon 46, and we're going to have a timeout, Wildcats. Both teams, scoreboard says otherwise, but I believe both teams have 1 timeout remaining. 1:10 left in the first half. Oak Ridge leading 14-0. Let's take a 30-second timeout and come back to Blankenship Field.
Remember to visit Fox Insurance Group in Oak Ridge for all your personal or business insurance needs. Thanks to Fox
This
Insurance
is a
Group.
wonderful crowd.
Hayward, Frent, Davis, Izzy Mitchell, the 4 in the backfield for the Wildcats. Linebackers, Kelly. Well, I won't bore you with reading names as we're getting ready to get back underway here. 2nd and 10, and 1:10 to go. Keith is going to go deep. He's got 1 man. He's beat 2 Wildcats. Frent on the coverage, and great coverage by Frent.
Man.
The junior with incredible coverage. He was beat, but Mike, he just ran with his arm up and got in the eyesight just enough. The ball still got in the arms of the Clinton receiver, but it broke his concentration just enough.
Exactly. Good defensive position by the Wildcats to break that pass up just as the pass got into Lucas Kendall's arm. The defender was there, falls harmlessly to the ground, incomplete pass.
He's clearly a favorite target in this ball game, at least for Joshua Keith. And, French just a sophomore playing safety for the Wildcats. It's 3rd and 10, 1 minute exactly to go. They're going to run the ball up the field with Goins. Up the middle, goes down to the right side. Now he's got more room for the first down, beyond the first down, and guess what? He's out of bounds. I think they're going to call him out of bounds. Will they start the clock or will they stop it? Regardless, it's a first down. Big time run from Goins. That's 2 on this drive. He's looking very, very good.
Okay.
51.6 seconds to go. The clock, I believe, will continue to stay stopped until this snap is gone. They do call him out of bounds. The clock will not run at 51.6 seconds until the ball is snapped, which it will be momentarily. 14-0 lead for the Wildcats. Are trying to protect it. Ball is snapped. Quick pass to the left side. Receiver catches it, and he's blasted immediately by Izzy Mitchell. A short gain of about 3. They're going to need more than that if they're going to score because the clock is continuing to run. 40 seconds, 38 seconds, 35 seconds. Clinton is confused. They have no idea what they're trying to do. They don't want to burn their last time out, so Keith's going to go up and spike it. They ran about 11 seconds off the clock there unnecessarily. And now after the spike, it will now be 3rd down and 4 from the Oak Ridge 33-yard line. I don't know how good Clinton's kicker is. I know they've got a decent one. I don't know his range. 27 seconds to go. Clinton takes the timeout to stop the clock, they spike the ball. And for some unapparent reason, the play clock hasn't started. I'm not sure why they're just giving Clinton essentially a freebie timeout here. They should have started this clock several moments ago. They have not. So now it's going to be 3rd and 5, 27 seconds to go from the Oak Ridge 27-yard line. Keith takes a snap, looks left all the way. He's going to avoid Galloway's nearly sack attempt, makes a man miss on the right side. He's got the first down and a whole lot more. He's going to be rushed out of bounds, and they're going to call a late hit. That's terrible. They call a late hit as Keith was running out of bounds. He's out of bounds at the 15, and here's why that's a terrible call. You cannot call that flag if you're the official on intent. The intent of Keith was to go out of bounds. It was, I believe, Steed in pursuit.
Exactly. You know how hard it is to pull up on a play like that?
It was actually Pickens, and the problem was he dove and made contact before Keith actually stepped out of bounds. Just because he's running towards the boundary, you can't stop as a defender. That's a really hard position to put a defender in right there, and it's going to hurt the Wildcats because instead of first down and 10 from the 16, it's going to be half the distance to the goal. So now it's going to be first and well, they're going to call it from the 7-yard line. First and goal from the 7, 16 seconds to go in the first quarter.
They got
huge momentous play right there.
That official call right there hurt the Wildcat.
Penalties have hurt both teams, more so the Wildcats of late.
Yeah.
16 seconds to go. Keith in the backfield. 3 receivers to the left. He can run. First and goal. Keith drops back, wants to go up the middle, and he's going to try to do it. He's going to go off to the right side now. Breaks the tackle, but he gets down only for about 3 yards. It's down to the 4-yard line, and Clinton is going to have to use their last timeout. That's huge. He did not get out of bounds. It was not an incomplete pass. He ran it, and if you're going to run it, Mike, right there in that situation, you basically have to score because if not, now you've used your last timeout.
Yeah. They've got 7 seconds to put the ball into the end zone. Looks like they're on the 5-yard line or right at the 4.
They're going to call it, let's say, the 5-yard line, just inside the 5. 7 seconds to go. Very likely this could be the last play of the first half. Clinton trailing 14-0, threatening to score. And if I know Darrell Keith at all, he's not going to try a field goal. He's going to try to get a touchdown and bring this to a one-possession game. Oak Ridge trying to protect their 14-0 lead here in the first half, the waning moments of the first half. Robert Ayers barking out instructions, giving high fives to his players, saying, let's make one more stop before we go up the steps for halftime. Again, if it's a quick out, a quick incompletion, you could run a second play, but Clinton does not, I don't think, have a timeout left. The scoreboard says 1. I don't think that's correct.
I think they took it.
From the 6-yard line, we'll let you hear this crowd at Blankenship Field as they rise to their feet for this goal line stand is what they hope is going to happen. Keith Goins, who has had a nice drive on the ground to his left. He's going to go out to block. Firing to the end zone is Keith. It's nearly intercepted. The ball was tipped and it falls incomplete. Mike, I will be honest. I'll take my Oak Ridge colored glasses off. Should have been a pass interference. A Clinton player got decked before the ball ever arrived. I don't think he was going to be able to catch it, but there was definitely contact from the Wildcats. There was no call. We just saw Clinton get a favorable call. Oak Ridge just got one themselves.
Dallas Friend just broke that pass up. Exactly what happened.
And it was
Dallas got there just apparently in the nick of time.
1.5 seconds to go here in the half. Clinton will get a chance to run another play. Do they run a field goal unit onto the field? Again, I don't think they are. And honestly, I don't hate the decision from Clinton. The rivalry, you haven't won since 2009. Historically, I believe it's 48-12. The record clearly slanted towards the Cardinal and Gray. 1.5 seconds to go in the first half. Should be the last play here. Oak Ridge 14, Clinton 0. The Dragons are threatening inside the Oak Ridge 5-yard line, spotted just across that 5-yard line. One play for maybe not all the marbles, but a whole bunch of them here just before half. What are you calling if you're Clinton?
You know, maybe that Utah pass. Something,
I think,
something inside. I think they'll go inside.
I think they're going to trust their quarterback here, their junior veteran quarterback. The problem with him is if you're Oak Ridge, you can't just worry about the pass. He's beat you with his legs, and not only can he actually run it with his legs, but what he can actually do is sort of confuse the defense, and even if he doesn't take off and run it, he can create enough chaos and buy his wide receivers some time to get open downfield. Oak Ridge is going to call a timeout. Now, let's take a quick 30-second timeout, and we'll come back to Blankenship for the last play of the first half. It's called a dangerous timeout right there. I hope we don't miss this.
We have a 10-back timeout. Say 10-back timeout. they get a first down?
It's just for the Oak Ridge first down. Thank you for reminding me because I always forget that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just for them.
Okay. I just wanted to remind you because I hadn't heard you say that yet.
And we hadn't had the ball, and it seems like.
Yeah, really.
Here we go. Thank you to Brian in the studio for being quick on the trigger there to take us to break. We thought we were going to not have enough time. I want to remind you, Jim Dotson is a teacher who will protect public schools. He's running for state representative to serve Clinton, Oak Ridge, and all of District 33. Jim's been a teacher for 35 years. He will fight to fully fund public schools. He won't take money away from your children's education or vouchers for charter schools. Jim has a proven track record. He's an experienced leader and a public servant. Please vote for Jim Dotson on November 8th. That brought to you by Jim Dotson, running for representative. One final play here. Oak Ridge 14, Clinton 0. Threatening to score with one play left before half. The drop, straight. Pass deep to the left corner of the end zone. It's caught, but did he get in?
Touchdown.
He got in. Unreal. A phenomenal athletic
Lucas
effort.
Kendall just made an outstanding catch in the coffin corner of the end zone, and the Dragons go on the scoreboard.
It was a beautiful pass. I thought it was too far, but that target that he has liked so much, Joshua Keith, Lucas Kendall, made a phenomenal athletic play, threw it to the back corner of the end zone on the left side, and somehow got his foot down, and that will be the half, as the extra point is good. And that will do it. Wow. Total turn of events, total turn of emotion in the Tide. Mike, what are you saying if your Coach Cummins going to half? Because a minute ago, it looked like you were going to have all the momentum. Just like that, Clinton is very much back in this ballgame.
Well, you got to remind your team this game's not over. It's still until the time goes to 0-0-0. They're still playing, and the Wildcats got to keep their head in the game. It looked like they're going to let the clock run all the way out. There's halftime.
As I say, there is a flag. They're going to
the end of it.
I guess they're going to pick the flag up. I'm not sure what the explanation was for the flag, but regardless, your score at halftime: Oak Ridge 14, Clinton Dragons 7. We're going to take a 3-minute break and come back with more halftime coverage at Blankenship Field. Yeah, you can stop it. Thank you. Sorry.
You go ahead. I'm good.
First up on the field is 2022 Clinton, so we'll watch you down. And the Nichols are Matt Rimstein, and Ezekiel Slav. The third guide instructor is Olivia Dean. The man is in the field direction of Will Todd Dunston. Our 2022 captains are the band captain is Ashland Smith. The position captains are Adrian Clark and Sheila Danto.
You ready for the
The
scoring to come back?
captains are Black Ross and Layla Collier. The 2022 Clinton High School Marching Band presents the curriculum hope.
Alex Myers alongside me is Mike Sheehan, former Wildcat great way back in the day. We won't mention an exact number, but Mike is with us now, as he always is, for the scoring summary. You're going to start to hear the Wild band in the background, so Mike, you're going to have to speak up here. Here's the first half scoring summary.
Okay, thank you, David. First things to get started off, the Wildcats really started off very well with Peyton Sharp throwing a 22-yard touchdown pass to Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly did a great job of eluding all the would-be tacklers and ran it in from 22 yards out. The Wildcats went up 7-0 with 7:31 left in the first quarter. Then David Wilson came in for the Wildcats and kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats led early 7-0. Then, with exactly the very last play of the first quarter, Jarvis Dozier ran it in from 22 yards out, and the Wildcats went up 13-0. David Wilson then came in and kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats led 14-0. But it was a great defensive battle most of the time in the second quarter, and the only scoring of the second quarter was by the Clinton Dragons, who drove the ball down to the 5-yard line, where Joshua Keith threw a 5-yard touchdown pass to Lucas Kendall for the Clinton Dragons. The Dragons went up put 6 points on the board. It was 16-14. The extra point for the Dragons was good, and the halftime score now 14-7 in favor of the Wildcats. But I knew this was going to be a good, close, tight game. Sure enough, it is. It's been an outstanding game for both teams, really. Clinton's definitely got no quit in them as they drove down the field on that very last drive and put 7 on the board.
We got some feedback issues, so let's take a quick timeout. Let's take a 3-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have halftime stats and maybe even a guest appearance.
Hey, Becky. Yeah, I'm doing the game. I'm on the radio. What do you need? What? Okay. I'm in the booth. I'm working and I'm in the booth. Okay.
Testing. Brian back at the station. We want to make sure that feedback is gone. Shoot me a text. Give me a call. Let me see if that feedback is gone. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Are they still on?
yes.
Turn it down or turn it off. I don't know if that's it or if it was Dave, but something was talking.
I turned it off. It's off.
I don't know that that's what it was.
I don't guess you know who their kicker is, do you?
Number 69 for the
69?
field goal, but I think it's a different guy for the punter.
Yeah, the punter's 33.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You want to do the wireless mic, or
If you want, or you can sit here.
whatever? I gotta have still wireless. Just tell me what to do.
Brian, if you can let me know if there's any feedback issues still.
You said for me to come up here.
Yeah.
I've been standing down there. If I can't find Scotty,
Oh,
they're
no.
like so simple.
Well,
Damn, I keep looking at the store. No time left.
I know it. That made me sick.
I thought it was out of bounds. Where I was standing.
Well, we couldn't tell. Obviously it was. Yeah.
And they called me about this dinner tonight. It's probably because kids want to take it out.
I don't know what she's doing. I hadn't been home all day. I was at Tommy. I'm going to go home from here. Ian came and got the truck. He's here somewhere.
It's here somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Well, he must have got the latest string off the back.
Oh, that's fine. Go for it.
I thought all day was delicious.
Okay, good. Well, I wish you could find her. Can't you call her?
Yeah, I sent her a text if we could send her. So she's down in that lower area. She might be over on this side of it. She probably is.
Okay.
I thought it was all banned.
There's a lot of people here tonight.
This place might be far down near the Magic Rock.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know which games that they're home.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. It's 14-7. Clinton looked to be out of it, but quite honestly, they showed a lot of fight there in that later stages of that second quarter. Scored on the final play of that second quarter, just before halftime to get back into this one. It's 14-7 at the break. You're hearing the sounds of the Clinton High School band. As let's go ahead and toss it over to Mark Haste, who's got our stats. Mark.
Said Oak Ridge on top at the half by a score of 14-7 over the Clinton Dragons. Look at the statistics for the first half. First for Oak Ridge, they're led on the ground by the Jonas Dozier. He has 32 yards on 9 carries, averaging 3.6 yards per carry. His long tonight is 22 yards. Peyton Sharp has a 9-yard carry. Brandon Hayward with a 7-yard carry, and Almani Rimbert has a 4-yard carry. So as a team, the Wildcats have rushed the ball 12 times, totaling 52 yards on the ground. That's an average of 4.3 yards per carry. Through the air tonight, Oak Ridge's quarterback, Peyton Sharp, he's 5 of 7 for 73 yards. Those 5 receptions. First, led by Brian Kelly. He has 2 receptions for 44 yards. Izzy Mitchell has a 11-yard reception. Brandon Hayward with a 10-yard reception. And Vashawn Knowles with an 8-yard reception. So as a team, the Wildcats have 52 yards on the ground on 12 carries. They have 73 yards through the air on 5 receptions for a total offense tonight of 125 yards. Wildcats have earned 3 first downs in the first half, been penalized 8 times for 74 yards. Now looking at Clinton, they're led on the ground by number 9, Jawan Goins. He has 74 yards on 8 rushes. That's an average of 9.3 yards per carry. His long tonight is 21 yards. Joshua Keith has carried the ball 5 times for the Dragons, totaling 38 yards. His long is 13 yards. And then Eris King has 1 carry for -4 yards. As a team, the Dragons have rushed the ball 14 times, totaling 108 yards on the ground. That's an average of 7.7 yards per carry. Receiving, or rather through the air, Joshua Keith, the quarterback for the Dragons, he's 9 of 16 for 49 yards. His long tonight is 17 yards. That 17-yard pass went to Lucas Kendall. Lucas was 2 of 22, or rather 2 receptions for 22 yards. Braylon Taylor has 2 receptions for 14 yards. Damon Marble, 2 receptions for 11 yards. Jeremiah Lee has a 4-yard reception. Wesley Phillips has a reception for no gain. And then Eris King has a reception for -2 yards. So as a team, the Dragons have 108 yards on 14 carries on the ground. They have 49 yards to the air on 9 receptions for a total offense tonight of 157 yards. They have 6 first downs in the first half. They have 6 penalties for 75 yards. So looking at the team side by side, rushing yards, Oak Ridge 52, Clinton 108. Through the air, Oak Ridge has 73 yards. Clinton 49 total offense. Oak Ridge with 125 total offensive yards. Clinton 157. First downs, Oak Ridge has 3. Clinton has 6. Penalties, Oak Ridge penalized 8 times for 74 yards. Clinton 6 times for 75 yards. Again, this is Mark Hayes, where Oak Ridge leads at the half 14-7 over the Clinton Dragons, and we'll be back after this 3-minute timeout.
I may have to have you just kind of standing here watching that, and again, it's on 3. So if I'm way low or way high or whatever. Okay. Yeah. I'll tell Dave to text you. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Or you can text Sean. Okay.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field, a stacked and packed Blankenship Field. I'm sure they're making, let's say, a killing at the concession stands tonight, Mike, as it's a warm night, a lot of beverages needed to help keep people cool, and there is a huge, huge crowd, a large contingency from Clinton, perhaps the biggest I've ever remember seeing in my 28 years on this planet.
You know,
I
got to say something, Alec. This is the safest dress student section I've ever witnessed. A lot of them are wearing high visibility safety clothes for whatever reason, and boy, they really stand out. They've been loud and proud tonight, too, cheering on the Wildcats.
Well, I see a few guys with things on their heads, but they're almost dressed like men without hats, as you might say, as the student section, as you mentioned a moment ago, dressed very safely. Let's hope they don't break out the safety dance, as the theme was neon, and they look like T-Dot crews out there. Jim Dotson is a teacher who will protect public schools. He's running for state representative to serve Clinton, Oak Ridge, and all of District 33. Jim's been a teacher for 35 years. He teaches at Jefferson Middle School. He will fight to fully fund public schools. He won't take money away from your children's education for vouchers or charter schools. Jim has a proven track record. He's experienced as a leader and a public servant. Please vote for Jim Dotson November 8th. That brought to you by Jim Dotson for representative. A couple minutes to go before halftime. Quickly, I'll have your thoughts here on the first half. We talked about it the first half. So what I'll do is fast forward and say, Mike, in 60 seconds or less, what does Oak Ridge need to do receiving the ball first in this second half in order to hold this lead, perhaps extend it, and ultimately come out of here with a win?
Well, they're going to have to start executing better. You know, their pass plays, you know, they're what? And, you know, it surprises me on this statistic. We only had 52 yards rushing in the first half. I thought we had more than that. And the Dragons have 108, which surprises me. But, you know, they did drive the ball down the field at the very last time, a good, 60-yard drive, and put it in the end zone right there with very little time left for the first half to end. The Wildcats clinging to a 14-7 lead here. It's anybody's ball game now. This Clinton team is nobody's slouch.
Absolutely, you are correct there. We want to thank you. We've got some Clinton folks listening to us, a lot of Oak Ridge folks listening to us. We want to thank Brian back at the station at WIJV 92.7 FM. You can listen to us there. You can listen to us on Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. We've got the video stream up on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and just search one word, Prep Radio on YouTube. And we basically are that way for every game this season. So we want to encourage you to find all the ways you can listen to us, and we certainly appreciate you doing so. As I'm Alex Myers doing play-by-play tonight in for David Clary. David, he told me I could tell you this, so he's getting over, let's say, that virus that's going around. And so our COVID producer, as he referred to himself as, executive producer David Clary, making things happen behind the scenes, away from the stadium tonight. Brian Bennett back at the station. We also want to give a shout-out to our crew, which we will do here at some point. Coaching staff for Oak Ridge, we didn't run those down, so I will do that momentarily. Offensive coaches, Ron Gray for the line, Kevin Day running backs, Colin Carnes H-backs, James Branson, tight end, former Prep Radio member, Vonce Henderson at wide receiver, Scott Cummings coaching quarterbacks, basically the offensive coordinator as well, and then Mike Kelly, the former Wildcat, as a kicker. Defensive line-wise, this is littered with former Wildcats. Alex Stewart coaching defensive line. Robert Ayers, a former UT standout, coaching inside linebackers. Rusty Parton, longtime assistant coach all throughout East Tennessee. Highly respected guy. Comes over, was at South Doyle, I believe, last year. Rusty Parton with outside linebackers. Ted Mitchell, Carson Newman standout, former Oak Ridge Wildcat. He teaches cornerbacks, and Eric Daniels teaches safeties. Last but not least, certainly, Ricky Chitwood coaches linebackers. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout. We're going to switch things up on you. A 2-minute timeout, and when we come back, we'll get things started here with second half action from Oak Ridge High School.
How's Jefferson doing?
Well, they finally got my son.
Oh, they did?
That's the first guy that won. It's the first time that I thought they really looked like a team. But I've got Zion's big buddies right up there in the middle, like the Packers.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
it's going to be pretty good.
Good deal. I'm glad to hear that.
5-8 now, under the 9 games. So we'll see.
Good.
Slow down a
Really?
bit, but we'll see if it keeps growing.
That's great.
Anyway, I guess I'll go back and stand.
All
Been
right.
standing right over there near the gate where that lady in the blue.
Yes.
I've been seeing right there. So
Okay.
I looked all over for Scott and she's blonde, but I'm sure she's down there. I'll be
Surely
back.
you can get a hold of her and get
Well,
on her phone.
if I got
I wouldn't think so. Yeah. It is bad. I knew it was going to be. Yes, there is. I mean, look at that fence over there. 15 deep. It's a pretty good sized crowd. Boy, did you get stuck in that rain? It rained about 5 minutes before the game.
we almost didn't come. And then I said, no, we're moving on. I was watching.
It hadn't rained another drop since. That Marler didn't see. I'll see you later. Good seeing you. Bye, honey. I love you too. All right, you too. Bye-bye. Yeah, really. Hey, you do what you do, yeah. Take care.
Welcome back in, Alex Myers. Substitute teaching for David Clary tonight on play-by-play. To my right is Mike Sheehan. Mike usually does some stat work for us, scoring summaries, and provides some great insight as a former player. Tonight, he's stepping into a slightly different role, not only doing all that he usually does, but adding to that, doing color commentary. Mike, I want to let you know how much I appreciate you. Without you, this broadcast would 110% not be possible. So thank you, Mike. You're doing a great job. And, let's get to it.
Thank you, Alec. I enjoy doing this, and give a shout out to all my fans out there. Tommy Thompson, Eddie Hickman, all my buddies down in Rockwood, Trish and Jerry Jenkins in Chattanooga. We got some great fans listening outside of Oak Ridge. It's wonderful now that we can spread out with YouTube and Prep Radio and get out there and reach some people that like to listen to the games that can't get here. So we appreciate all you listeners out there. Thank you.
And there's the kickoff. It's the first we've seen from Clinton this game. Rimbert takes it at the 15, up across the 25, and spins and twirls his way across the 30-yard line. Down to the 31, we'll call it, and that's where Oak Ridge will take over. And crazy thing is to say this is about as bad a field position as Oak Ridge has had, and it's still pretty good. 1st and 10, Oak Ridge will start the second half with the ball from their own 31-yard line. Mike, what do you want to see in this half, specifically on this drive?
I want to see them establish the running game. That's what I want to see. We've got good running backs.
This has been Dozier's game from the start, with Jai Hunley unavailable tonight due to an injury suffered late in the game last week at Bearden. They give it to him here up the middle. A little bit of room, and he makes a lot out of it. Boy, he is just bulldozering people across the first down. Every time it looks like he's going to get stopped, and I kind of hesitate because I'm getting ready to say he's brought down, he doesn't. It looked like an 85 tearaway jersey, Mike. As his jersey got stretched and was 2 yards behind where his feet were turning, he gets a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down. They give it right back to him off the left side. Nothing going this time. He loses about a half a yard.
They were waiting on him that time. That run before, he had great pad leverage. That time, he no more got to the line of scrimmage. He was dropped.
Really about the first time all game that Oak Ridge has used a little bit of a tempo, if you will. And that time, it didn't work. 2 wide receivers out to the right side. It's Hayward on the far right, and in the slot, it's Almani Rimbert, the central transfer who went to Robertsville Middle School. Down here on the left is Izzy Mitchell. Brian Kelly, the up back. And they're going to run it up the middle to Dozier. They fake it, actually. Peyton has nowhere to pitch it on the option, so he's going to have to make the wise decision and keep it. The problem was there wasn't a lot going there. He does his best to get a couple of yards back, and it'll bring up a lengthy 3rd down here. We'll call it 3rd and 9. Oak Ridge on their own 42-yard line, needing to get to the Dragon 47. 10:35 to go, just a minute and a half into this second half. As we're 3rd quarter action now, the lights are on, the sky is dark, but the stars have been out in this one. 14-7 the score. Wildcats with the lead. Sharp in the backfield. Off to his right hip, DeJavis Dozier. Clinton going to bring pressure from the right side. Oak Ridge rolls left. Got a man downfield if they want him. It's Rimbert, and he made a diving attempt back, but the ball was low, as you just mentioned, Mike, and it was actually Brandon Hayward. Hayward, a guy with a lot of recruiting around him, a ton of talent. He's made a huge impact for the Wildcats over his first 2 years plus. He's now a junior. But tonight, Clinton has done a really nice job of containing him.
They certainly have. They know that he's one of our go-to players, and they've really been on him hard and quick tonight. Dragons doing a good job on defense so far.
Wildcats missing a few playmakers, and so a lot of attention on him. And wow, the punt is off, and it is a boomer. It lands all the way down at the 5-yard line. squirts towards the end zone, and the Wildcat coverage team can't get there in time, and unfortunately, it will be a touchback. Brennan has a leg on him like I haven't seen from an Oak Ridge punter in maybe a decade or so.
Well, that was in the air. That ball was 65 yards in the air that time. And it came down it, and regretfully it bounced and went right into the end zone, which is not really what you want to have. But it's 1st and 10 on the 20, and you don't have to worry about tackling anybody because they can't even touch the ball. He kicks it so far.
It will be Oak Ridge ball, or excuse me, Clinton ball, from their own 20-yard line. Their first drive of the second half, they sputtered and sputtered for most of the first half, but got a really nice drive going late and scored on the last play of the second quarter, excuse me. See if they can keep that momentum as they throw out to the left side to a up back, and Price Davis was all over that one. He was going to get blasted even if he had caught that one.
Yeah, Price was there before the ball got there, actually.
Braylon Taylor.
That receiver never had a chance.
Braylon Taylor shows you my age. I had him back in summer camp, and now he plays for the Dragons. Good to see him out there making plays, as that one was incomplete, though. It's 2nd and 10. Boy, Mike, tell me about no one cares about that story, but I'm going to tell it anyways. Here's a 2nd down play. Only goes for about 2 yards. Off the right side, it went Goins. Goins has been really the Clinton running game as it brings up 3rd and 8. Clinton running game has been very sporadic.
Yeah.
It's either 25-yard gain, 15-yard gain, or nothing.
Right. Oak Ridge did a great job of swarming that defense that time. Brings up 3rd and 7 from the 23 for the Dragons.
Needing to get this 7 yards or further to extend the drive. They're on the near side hash right in front of the Oak Ridge student section. Keith, the quarterback, hands it off up the middle, and there is nothing going.
No.
Goins tackled by 3 Wildcats. There's a nice block from Clinton downfield, but it doesn't matter because it was away from the play. And the same lineman, the guy who's got all those offers, I believe his name is Maddox, he did the old Allen Iverson over Lou Williams for those NBA fans listening, where he just, after the play, he could have gotten flagged for finishing late, but as he got up, he kind of high-stepped over the guy, may have been talking. We obviously can't hear him, but he did something to draw that flag. And so even though it was going to be 4th down, it will now be 4th and longer. It was going to be 4th and 7. That's going to be a personal foul.
Tyler Pickens there on the stop for the Wildcats, Alec.
It was Barrett Maddox, the very talented senior. He's been getting a lot of looks. I talked to some people from Clinton that are very close to that program earlier this week, and they had a lot of praises, as did Coach Scott Cummings on Down the Steps with Scott Cummings, our Wednesday show on BBB Channel 12. If you haven't tuned in this year, we invite you to tune in every week, every Wednesday of the football season that there's a game. David Clary hosting that. He'll be back next week with Coach Scott Cummings to give you a wrap-up with showing some highlights of the last game and obviously a preview of the coming opponent. And he previewed Maddox and several Dragons in this one. 8:52 to go here. Each team has stalled on their opening drive of the second half. Oak Ridge back to receive is Rimbert and Hayward right at midfield at the 50-yard line. Clinton punting from their own goal line. It's 33. Kick is a wobbler. Not a bad punt, not a great one. It hits at the 40 and takes a great Clinton bounce. 15 yards, now 19 yards, and 20 yards. It takes a 20-yard roll for the Dragons. And Oak Ridge, though they were standing at the 50, they'll actually start this drive right at their own 40-yard line. Really nice punt. He doesn't get a lot of air on it, but Blaine Collins, the sophomore, done a nice job for special teams for Clinton.
Absolutely. Good playing by the Dragons that time, letting that ball roll like they did now. Oak Ridge got the ball on their own 40-yard line, 60 yards away from the goal, Alec. 8 minutes and 28 seconds left here in the third quarter, leading the Clinton Dragons 14-7.
Wildcats dressed in their all Cardinal caps as well. Clinton with orange helmets and all white uniforms. Both teams with their primary colors striped with a double stripe down their pants. And just before the opening snap of that drive, there's a penalty. Boy, penalties plagued both teams in the first half, and actually they're not going to be a penalty. It's going to be a Clinton timeout, so they have to burn one early. Let's take one. Now let's stay here. We're going to stay here as there's some confusion whether the teams are going to go to the sideline or not. We'll keep it here. Interesting having to burn a timeout that early. You wonder if it could hurt them down the road, Mike.
Yeah, I'm not really exactly in tune with why they call that timeout. Obviously, they wanted to run something different than what they had called, so they called the timeout to get their ducks in a row. They're having a long discussion about what play they're getting ready to run coming up here, as the Wildcats got it 1st and 10 on their own 40-yard line.
Folks, Jim Dotson is a sponsor of our program tonight. He's a teacher who will protect public schools. He's running for state representative to serve Clinton, Oak Ridge, and all of District 33. Jim's been a teacher for 35 years. He will fight to fully fund public schools. He won't take the money away from your children's education and voucher for charter schools. Jim has a proven track record. He's an experienced leader and a public servant. Please vote for Jim Dotson on November 8th. As Wildcats back onto the field after that Clinton timeout. Run off to the left side. Dozier is going to fight forward and really lunge forward for a nice gain of 4. And boy, every time Clinton looks like they've got Jarvis Dozier in the backfield, he somehow makes something out of it.
And he is slippery. Did you see how hard he was driving his legs that time? And he got the extra yardage just off sheer willpower to get forward with that forward yardage.
You know, executive producer David Clary, not with us tonight, but still very much a part of this broadcast. He's made a great point. Wildcats hit Brian Kelly early on in the ballgame, haven't thrown it back since. Pitch to the right side. Jarvis Dozier breaks a tackle across the 50, down to the 40, and he shoved out of bounds that time all the way down in Dragon territory at the 40-yard line, as it was Clinton's Wesley Phillips making the tackle way downfield. The coaching staff to our right was not happy because there was a missed block. Dozier potentially could have been tackled in the backfield for a loss. Instead, he had just enough of a burst of speed to get between the two incoming defenders from Clinton and make something out of nothing. And guess what that is, Mike? That's a 10 bank of Oak Ridge. First down for the Wildcats into Dragon territory with 7:41 to go in the third quarter. Oak Ridge leading this one. Wildcats up 14-7, looking to add. In the backfield, Peyton Sharp looks to his left, gets a snap. It's high. It's over his head. He needs to fall on this one, and wisely he's going to. Clinton will not recover. Peyton does, but the problem is Oak Ridge just lost about 17 yards on that play, and we haven't seen a lot of miscommunications, but that was one just a little bit too high was the snap that time. That's a tough play, and now you're backed up.
Yeah, it sure is. I hate it when that happens. And, you know, the center does too. You know, he sure didn't mean to do that, but it really cost the Wildcats a lot of yardage.
2nd and 27 now as the Wildcats back on the negative side of midfield, back in their own territory at their own 43. For the first time all night, two backs. Rimbert to Sharp's left, Dozier to his right. They're not going to run it. They're going to look downfield. He's got a man across the middle. That's Izzy Mitchell down to the 45. Makes one miss, down to the 40, and across the original line of scrimmage, down to the 39. They're going to call him down at the 40. I don't like the spot, but it gets Oak Ridge back into a reasonable position on 3rd and 10.
Tell you, Peyton Sharp threaded the needle Izzy Mitchell that time. Izzy did a great job of catching that ball with two defenders hanging all over him, but
The
still
middle of
brings
the field,
up 3rd and long.
Middle of the field has been wide open all day long. Oak Ridge has been a little bit hesitant, I feel like, to throw it at times early on in the year across the middle. But tonight, with these Dragons, there's been spaces, and give it to Oak Ridge's Izzy Mitchell in particular, who's made a lot of those catches. Peyton Sharp delivered a dime there. 3 receivers left, one to the right for Sharp, Dozier to his right. Quick screen to the left, and Dozier is blasted. Really nice job by Dozier just to hang on to the ball, as it was Clinton's Brandon Hallfield. Hallfield came up and blasted him, and really Oak Ridge is fortunate that wasn't a
As
fumble.
soon as the ball got there, he was there waiting on him. He had no chance to get any positive yardage whatsoever.
Hallfield with a nice play. Oak Ridge is across the 40, down to the Clinton Dragon 44-yard line and hold up just 1 minute. Oak Ridge sent the punt unit on. There's a flag on Clinton's sideline. It's not going to affect it. It's just a sideline warning. But if they call another flag, it will indeed be a penalty. 4th and 14, Oak Ridge trying to pin them deep. It's the punter, Brandon Pearson. Really nice punter for Oak Ridge. Hasn't been able to get any backspin. Let's see if he can do it here, trying to pin Clinton deep. Clinton, nice pressure up the middle. They don't quite get there. Backspin is on this one. It lands at the 15, rolls backwards in Clinton's direction towards the 17, and that's where Clinton will take over. 1st and 10. We're going to take a 30-second timeout and be back First and 10 for Clinton.
Well, we got them backed up again.
First and 10 for the Dragons on the 17-yard line, their own territory. Quick rocket out to the right side. Receiver breaks the tackle across the 30 to the 35 and out of bounds finally at the 38-yard line. Brian Kelly and Brent there to push him out of bounds. And boy, that was about an 8 to 10-yard gain, Mike, that turned into much, much more. Nice downfield playmaking from the Clinton Dragon wide.
Yeah, Bryson Maddock caught that ball and got up the field very quickly. And Brian Kelly had to come over from his outside linebacker position to make that tackle, but not before he got the first down.
Has not had the pressure they've had in previous games, perhaps by design, because the quarterback is a very mobile athlete out there, very capable of hurting you with his legs. Running back goes straight up the middle to give off the right tackle, right guard rather, was to Goins. He gets about 3. It's a little more than I thought. But Goins, again, he's a guy, it chips away. You get a 2-yard gain here, a negative yard gain, there, and all of a sudden he breaks a 15-yarder. You've got to respect Clinton's ability to run the ball because they have popped a few of them tonight. Second down and a long 7 to go. 5 minutes on the clock here in the third quarter. The Oak Ridge student section directly below me, getting loud, trying to urge their defense on. Keith drops back. He's going to overthrow the outstretched arms of his wide receiver, Braylon Taylor. And Braylon Taylor, give him credit, he had Oak Ridge's corner and safety beat. It wasn't a bad throw by Joshua Keith, but the junior just had a little bit too much air on that one. Oak Ridge dodged a bullet. They had a touchdown if that's complete.
Absolutely, but a good defensive pressure by the Wildcats on the corner over there.
3rd and 7, 4:40 to go. Clock stopped until the snap. Third quarter action here from Blankenship Field. Clinton with the ball on their own 41-yard line, trying to extend this drive, trailing Oak Ridge 14-7. Keith running back behind him. He's going to fake, going to try to run. He's got a man downfield if he wants him. He's pointing like Brett Favre, throws it to him, and it's incomplete. And Oak Ridge's defense comes up with a 3rd down stand.
Good pressure by the Wildcat defense up front to really make him hurry that pass.
Tyler Pickens, defensive end on the left side of that defensive line, was very, very agitated and upset by something. He went over and talked to the officials, and I'll be honest, the official showed some restraint there, kind of like a good umpire in the MLB, just keeping his mouth shut, letting the player vent because he was upset about something.
I think he felt like he got held, Alex.
Well, it's 3rd down. It was incomplete. So regardless, Oak Ridge gets off the field. 4th and 7, Clinton punting from their own 41. Rimbert and Hayward back standing on each hash at the Wildcat 22-yard line. The punters had a pretty nice night tonight as he nearly gets run into but gets a clean punt off. No penalty. Oak Ridge's Hayward picks it up at the 22. Across the 25, makes one man miss and drives a defender into the ground to the 31-yard line, And all of a sudden, Oak Ridge trying to take some momentum back, but there's a little bit of jawing going on late in this game. Both teams really need to stay focused, Mike, because you can jaw if you win this game for 12 months.
Yeah.
But right now, for a quarter and a half, you've got to focus on football.
This is not the time. You need to stay disciplined right here. Stay within your game. Penalties can make you or break you on these drives. And that's the last thing we need. 4:16 to go here in the third quarter.
14-7, the Wildcat lead. Oak Ridge scored on their opening 2 possessions. Have not seen pay dirt since. Clinton went scoreless. Really didn't even have a first down for much of that first half and scored on the very last play of the second quarter. It's been a back-and-forth ball game. Stroth team struggling to capture, and maintain momentum, and one of the reasons is because of penalties. Speaking of which, there's a penalty as a man goes in motion for Oak Ridge. The official standing with the linebacker unit called it. It's going to be a false start on the Wildcats, and boy, 2 steps forward, 1 step back for the Wildcats. That's what we've seen so much here. We just talked about not hurting yourself with penalties.
Exactly. This really frustrates a quarterback and the line, for that matter, when this happens. It disrupts everything, and it backs us up again. We're behind the chains again.
1st and 15, Oak Ridge. backed up in their own territory on their own 27-yard line to start this drive. It's 1st and 15. Oak Ridge leading 14-7, 4:16 on the clock. 3 receivers to the right. Presley up all alone by himself. Sharp avoids a sack. Really athletic play. Going to try to break it and gets just back to the line of scrimmage. They'll give him a gain of about a half a yard. But, boy, Clinton had a free run at him, and Peyton is really fortunate
Elusive.
that he didn't just get blasted for a sack.
He's very elusive. His feet are really quick.
And
I noticed how quickly he moved his feet.
He's
He
a
worked himself
capable
around.
runner at quarterback as the senior for
he
Oak
is.
Ridge. He's not Randall Cunningham or Condridge Holloway back there, but he's elusive enough to avoid big mistakes like that.
Right.
2 wideouts to either side. Clinton in their 3-man front. Both of these teams run a 3-4 defense. Hayward to the near side. He's been quiet all night, been held in check. Guarding him is a cornerback, Derek Bean, the junior for Clinton. Dozier goes in motion momentarily. Now everyone's set. Now it's Rembert in motion. They're going to hand off, sweep left side. He gets outside the hash, across the 25, trying to make a man miss. He does, but can't make the second man miss, and he's taken down at the 30. So Oak Ridge, it was 2nd and about 15, and now it'll be 3rd and about 12 with 3:09 to go here. Right at about the 30-yard line is the Oak Ridge team struggling here in the second half. Their opening couple of drives are struggling to get any momentum. I think you almost have to trust the air game a little bit, or at least try going like outside like they did right there, Mike, because Clinton's interior defense has been very, very solid.
Yes, it has. And they're really swarming to the ball right now. Those up front guys are doing a good job against the Wildcats right this minute on this particular drive.
3 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. 2 running backs in the backfield next to Sharp. They're there for protection. He's going to go across the middle. Presley nearly had it, but it was tipped away by Bean, the cornerback, who we just mentioned a moment ago. Really nice play from him. If he nearly intercepted it, Mike, if he got his hands on it, if he doesn't drop, if he doesn't get his hands on that ball, Presley probably has a first down and maybe has more.
Yeah, Derek Bean did a good job on defense that time for the Dragons, breaking that play up. The Wildcats are going to have to punt the ball back to the Clinton Dragons. Back deep for the Dragons, number 1, Jeremiah Lee.
He's had a fairly quiet game, and let's see if Pearson can use that really strong leg of his to get one off here, and boy, does he ever.
Good
Backing up to the 25 is the return man. He makes a couple of guys miss and makes actually a decent little return there. Gets about 10 yards on the return, and he's across the 30 out to the 32-yard line, which is where the Clinton Dragon drive will start with 2:15 to go here in the third quarter. Clinton gets the ball 1st and 10, trailing 14-7. The scoreboard has been quiet. Not a lot of highlights offensively here, really in this ball game, but especially from the second quarter on. 1 Clinton touchdown is all that's gone on the board. It's 14-7. One more time, Oak Ridge leading as Clinton comes out here nearing the end of the third quarter. They're going to start this drive on their own. They'll call it the 33. Keith in the backfield, the junior quarterback. Goins, the running back, behind him. 2 to the right, 1 receiver split out left. The handoff goes to Goins, and he's going to be tackled immediately that time by Oak Ridge's number 23, Grayson Hope. Hope's had a nice game, a quiet game, but he's had a couple of nice plays. I think he recovered a fumble earlier. Just one-on-one tackle right there.
He did get that. That was big when he got that fumble there in the first quarter.
And credit to Goins because
Stopped a big
Hope
drive.
hit him about a yard past the line of scrimmage, but Goins, that big-bodied, tall, lengthy back, as he fell forward, and he gets a gain of about 4. 2nd and 6 for the Dragons. They go Goins again, this time off the left side. He makes one defender miss and cannot make Brian Kelly miss. But again, another positive gain for the Clinton Dragons on the ground. And it brings up a 3rd and a manageable 2 yards with a minute and a half left in this third quarter. Clinton trying to extend this drive. They've gone 3 and out twice to start the second half. On their 3rd possession, on this 3rd and 2, they're looking to extend the drive. Ball is at the Oak Ridge, or the Clinton 41-yard line. 1 receiver split left, 2 wide to the right. This is the type of scenario, Mike, where Keith's legs become a threat. Late defensive substitution by Oak
good
Ridge,
play.
and it was worth it. Into the backfield came charging Brian Kelly. He, along with Elijah Bradley, into the backfield. That's a lot of load to bring down with that big running back, but he never got his legs churning. As soon as he got the ball, Kelly Kelly and Bradley were right there. There's going to be a timeout on the field. We'll take one with them. Timeout Clinton. That's their second. They've only got one left. 30-second break. We'll be back to end the third quarter at Blankenship.
We need to establish something going on. We got to move the ball.
I'm with Dave. It's open down the middle. They haven't hit Brian Kelly since that first couple of drives, and they scored on it. They nearly scored on it. Go back to it. Maybe they've just been lulling them to sleep to set them up for it. It was there early.
Come on now, let's go defense. Need to hold them right here. I guess they're
43 seconds left in the third quarter. Clinton on a 4th and 2 near their own 40-yard line.
They're going for it.
Are they going to go for it? Or are they going to send the punter? They are going to go for it. Their power formation, they've got this formation under center for the first time all knock goes. Keith, they run. They wouldn't have got it, but they're really not going to get it now, as I don't think everyone is aligned. There was a penalty from the back judge, and it came in early. Wasn't a delay of game.
I think it was a false start.
I believe you're right, Mike, but let's see. And Clinton is not happy about it. That's on them. Is it an illegal substitution or a false start? Regardless, Clinton's going to have to send their punt team on. Illegal substitution it was.
Yeah.
And Clinton's going to have to bring out their punting unit as 33, Blaine Collins. Jinx to the PA announcer as we're talking at the same speed right now. Collins will come out to punt. Again, not a guy who gets a bunch of air, but Oak Ridge needs to try to pick this ball up because he's been getting a lot of sort of that hidden yardage when it rolls. Low snap, he bobbles it. He's going to get it off, though. Not a lot of pressure from the Wildcats. One of his better punts of the night is going to land at the 40, bounce backwards, nearly hits Vashon Knowles. The official said it does. Clinton recovers.
No.
Vashon Knowles had no idea the ball was coming down around him. No one else apparently yelled Peter, or he didn't hear it if they did. And Clinton strikes up the band as they get the ball back, gaining exactly 29 yards.
You know, that's
19 yards on that punt, and they get the ball back.
That's just unfortunate for Knowles. I mean, to get hit by the ball like that, like you said, nobody told him it was coming down. He was watching the blocker to keep him getting his head knocked off, and then he gets hit by the ball, and Clinton falls on it. Now they get a big break. They've got a 1st and 10 inside the 40, trailing 14-7. Here were 30 seconds left in the third quarter.
That's where the breaks are won, the special teams unit. Clinton on the 1st down and 10. Run up the middle.
Yeah.
Blasted. Speaking of Vashon Knowles.
Oh, look at that.
Vashon Knowles came up and
that play was
stuffed him
dead.
like a turkey on Thanksgiving. Goins had nowhere to go. Excellent play, and Oak Ridge has got a player down, and he is in a lot of pain.
Cramping big
It looks
time.
like Brian Kelly. Hopefully it's just a cramp. He's trying to get, looks like him stretched out. We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout, and we'll be back to wrap up the third quarter from Oak Ridge.
23's cramping too. What's up with these? I mean, it's hot and humid out there.
Yeah,
Big
they're
time.
losing a lot of.
lot of fluid. They're losing a lot of fluid. It is hot and humid, big time. And we got to hang on and win this thing.
Got a quick break in the action with Brian Kelly and another Wildcat on the ground. First Wildcat is Grayson Hope, and he appears to be okay. Looked like maybe a cramp or something. I'm not a doctor. I don't like to diagnose injuries, but he's okay. As Brian Leffler's out there working on Brian Kelly, who is helped
He's
to his
getting
feet.
up now.
Yeah, he's a little stiff, but he's jogging off under his own power. As you hear the Wildcat faithful down just below us here in the press box, starting to cheer him on. Mike, 15 seconds to go. It'll be 2nd and 14 from the Oak Ridge 44 as Clinton trots their offense slowly but surely back onto the field. You almost feel like if Oak Ridge continues to let Clinton get opportunities without really doing anything, eventually the Just Dragons offense that's very talented has scored 93 points through 2 games.
Yeah,
Eventually they're going to get in
exactly.
the end zone again.
Yeah, that worries me. I'm telling you, this is a good Clinton team. Oak Ridge cannot take anything for granted right here. They really need to play tough defense.
Man in motion from the right side. It goes left. It's a toss. He breaks through a line of defenders somehow and across the original line of scrimmage for a gain of about 10. But because of that penalty on first down, it will bring up 3rd and a long 6. Nice run there. We haven't seen that sweep sort of pitch from the shotgun look from Clinton all game. And all of a sudden,
the Dragons are getting wide on the Wildcats, spreading them thin.
And is there another timeout or what's happening? Because Clinton, it's third quarter. Duh, Alex, look at the clock. Let's take a quick 60-second timeout, and hopefully you guys are more aware than I am. 60 seconds from now, we'll return with the 4th and final quarter from Blankenship.
Really scoring after that track meet the first time. Looks like some of the Dragon fans are leaving.
Keith with a play to the left. His Shoesmeyer was a little bit delayed. We're not quite back on the radio if you're listening on the stream. As Keith scrambled. We welcome back our listeners. We were a little bit delayed getting back. Keith scrambled. He got pressured early, but we talked about it. You got to be careful with his legs. He was running out of bounds on that 3rd and 7. He got about 6 yards, and it will be 4th and 1. Again, the chain gang along the other side, I'm trying to watch them, but they are just consistently not changing the thing. There they go. Now it's 4th down. 4th and 1 from the Oak Ridge 31. Big play right here in this ball game. Clinton down 7 moments into the 4th quarter. Handoff goes to the right side. He doesn't get much, but he gets what he needed. And it's a first down for Clinton. And this drive will continue. And we want to welcome you into this broadcast if you're just joining, not that you flipped from another network, but because a lot of fans have started to leave from both sides. I'm seeing a lot of folks starting to leave, not because the game has gotten out of hand, but because it started to precipitate. The clouds have opened up here just above Blankenship Field as we're a few steps above Jackson Square. Clinton moving on this drive, a lengthy but yet successful drive to this point, moving from Jackson Square northward towards the new scoreboard at the Oak Ridge 29-yard line. 1st and 10 Dragons. Keith wasn't ready for the snap. The ball's on the ground, and he falls on it.
It hit him in the face.
He was not ready for that snap. The ball was snapped regardless. And it will be a 4-yard loss. And quite frankly, Mike Sheehan, Clinton's lucky that they only lost 4 and didn't lose the ball.
Amen. That ball hit him right in his face mask. And it slowed the ball up just enough for him to get control of it and fall right on it. But they lost it down on that 2nd down and 14 and absolutely pouring down rain.
The student section is going berserk. They love it. Handoff right side. A little confusion. There's a little bit of a gap. The running back takes it, runs into his own man, and is going to push all the way near the first down. Got a better spot for Oak Ridge than I originally thought. A really nice run there. One of the first runs I think we've seen from Clinton's Chauncey Phelps, the junior. Nice-looking athlete back there at running back, and he's going to have to tap his helmet and come out of the ball game. It'll be 3rd and 4 from the Oak Ridge 23. 10:25 left to go in this ball game, in regulation at least. 3rd and 4 upcoming. Clinton, no doubt, in 4-down territory. 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. In the shotgun formation that's been so familiar for Clinton. Could have been a false start, wasn't called. Handoff up the middle to Goins. He's going nowhere. He's stuck. 1 yard is all he gained right there, and it'll be and a long three for the Dragons upcoming.
Brian Kelly crashed down on that play. He watched that play from start to finish. He read the running back's eyes, got over there, and made the tackle for a loss. And brings that 4th down and 3.
He was a team's player of the week last week for his efforts on offense and defense. Has played both ways a lot tonight. In the downpour, Clinton trailing by 7, 9:38 to go here in this 4th and final quarter. Keith running back behind him. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. They're on the far hash. Looks left all the way. Pressure coming. He slobs one out into the backfield. His running back's got it. He makes a man miss. He actually was tackled, but he got just enough for that first down. And the Dragons move the chains once again. You sort of feel like this is a big, big drive in this ball game, Mike.
Man,
Clinton just finding ways, unpacking different solutions in order to keep the chains moving.
Yeah, their play calling's really mixing it up. They got outside on the left side that time. Izzy Mitchell got over there as quickly as he could, but not before they made the first down play.
Elijah Batiste now as Clinton continuing to rotate fresh legs in the backfield. A couple yards behind Joshua Keith. Keith looks 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Man comes in motion. 3 receivers right now after that man goes in motion. Keith pressured. He's going to be... Oak Ridge thought they got held. Keith still running around back to the left side. He makes 2 defenders miss. Out down to the 10, to the 5, and down to the 4-yard line before he's taken out of bounds by Izzy Mitchell. Oak Ridge, 3 different defenders with their hands in the air thinking they got held, but you cannot quit, Mike. They didn't call it, but you still have to finish the play.
I'll tell you, that good quarterback play that time, he just eluded that tackler and ran the ball up the field all the way down to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal for the Dragons.
He is just about unstoppable right now, Keith, when he chooses, when he elects to keep it on the ground with his legs. But again, he's a guy who's very much a pass-first guy. He would rather throw the ball, it would seem. As we got a similar formation as we did earlier in this game when Clinton scored their touchdown on a fade route to the near side. They are on that near hash, that same near hash they scored from earlier. Keith with the ball at the 5-yard line. Sets to take the snap. 8:09 left to go in the 4th. Handoff up the middle to the Dragon.
Number 11.
The crowd tells you that's a touchdown, Clinton, and this one is an extra point away from being all knotted up at 14. Oak Ridge with a 1-point lead. As that time they just handed it to junior Chauncey Phelps right up the middle, and Phelps wasn't real fast, wasn't real powerful, just kind of was a very patient runner on that particular play. And here comes the all-important extra point to tie this game up. It's senior Jacob Pruitt. The kick is up. It's a short one. It's fading to the right, but it goes through, just nestled through the uprights. We've got a tie ball game at Blankenship Field with 8:02 to go. It's 14-14. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back to Blankenship Field. Clinton set the kickoff after that really, really impressive and lengthy, time-consuming scoring drive. It's now 14-14, and Mike, Oak Ridge has now been shut out after those first couple of touchdown drives. Clinton's ready to kick this one off. It will be Pruitt, the senior. Doesn't have a great leg, but he's going to squib this one down to the 20 where it's received by Oak Ridge. It's Armani Rimbert. Rimbert down to the 30, crossing back to the left side of 35, to the 40. He's got blockers across to midfield where he's tackled at the 49-yard line, actually, they'll say, of Oak Ridge. Really nice return set up by some even better blocking from the Wildcat special teams.
Excellent return that time. They have good field position. Wildcats going to have the ball just inside their own territory at the 49-yard line, 51 yards away from pay dirt.
Mike, it feels like you have to have an answer for Oak Ridge. The momentum has been sucked out of the home side and totally put on the away side, as it feels like half the city of Clinton is in the stands directly across from us, and they are loud. 7:50 to go in this fourth quarter. All knotted up at 14. 1st and 10. Oak Ridge will start this drive from their own 49-yard line. The two lines nearly straddling the midfield mark. Power formation. Oak Ridge goes to Dozier across the 45, down to the 41-yard line where he's tackled. And what is that? That's a 10 bank of Oak Ridge. First down for the Wildcats. We haven't seen that power formation since late in the game last week when Oak Ridge had worn down Bearden. You'll wonder if Oak Ridge may have found something there, if they'll continue, instead of going with the wideouts and the shotgun, to maybe keep that formation power. And it looks like that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, they're moving the ball pretty good right now, and hopefully they can continue this drive as they need it desperately. Game tied, 14-all.
Confusion right now. 20 seconds left on the play clock. Oak Ridge is really confused right here. They're going to snap the ball anyways, as I'm not sure they've got 11 on the field. Dozier gets to the right side across the 40. Makes one miss to the 35. Down to the 30. Gets a buck to the 25. To the 20. Inside cut. Still fighting for yards. Down to the 17-yard line. To Jarvis Dozier.
Well, I tell you, Dozier got a lot of that on his own. He made some beautiful moves that time to elude some would-be tacklers and just kept driving his legs. Great determination all the way down inside the 20-yard line for the Wildcats. Now it brings up 1st down and 10 on the 17-yard line.
We've got an official's timeout. There's a player down for Clinton. Let's get a 30-second timeout and bring it back here and make sure he's okay. That was a heck of a run.
Yeah, it was.
Oak Ridge running backs.
This kid's hurt.
Yeah, they don't stop their legs. Yeah, I didn't
This
see what
kid's
happened
hurt.
at the end.
I don't either. But he's hurt bad. I don't know about this. It's not pretty. This may take a while. He's hurt. Well, what a determined run that was. Well, they know they got to get back in this, Alec. Coming down to the nitty-gritty here.
Jim Dotson is a teacher who will protect public schools. He's running for state representative to serve Clinton, Oak Ridge, and all of District 3. Jim's been a teacher for 35 years. He'll fight to fully fund public schools. He won't take money away from your children's education for vouchers in charter schools. Jim has a proven track record. He's an experienced leader and a public servant. Please vote for Jim Dotson November 8th for representative. That brought to you, of course, by Jim Dotson. Player shaken up for Clinton was number 8, Damon Marable. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, I apologize to his family. Marable, actually it is Marable. Great helper for the Clinton Dragons staff. Told me that, and I forgot it. It was Matt Hagan. Does a lot of the same stuff we do for Clinton. I know Clinton folks appreciate his efforts. It's 1st and 10, 6:52 to go in the fourth quarter. Handoff right side to Dozier. He is walloped at the line of scrimmage. And they're going to say he actually got a couple of yards from this angle. It didn't look like he did. It'll bring up 2nd and 8. Ball on the Clinton Dragon 15. So you've got 2nd and 8, 6:35 to go. You're not wanting to run this clock real fast. You're in no hurry. Oak Ridge needs a touchdown on this drive, don't they?
They definitely got to have a 6 right here.
It is 14-14. Snap, give, right side. Dozier down across the 10, across the 5, and into the end zone. Thomas Dozier with 6 on the boards for the Wildcats. And listen to this crowd.
15-yard run by Dozier to punch the ball in for the Wildcats. Give us back the lead, Alec. 20-14. 6:06 left in this game with the extra point forthcoming.
And all of a sudden, the energy that was radiating from the opposing stands, they are hushed. And Oak Ridge's stands have all that energy. The Jarvis Dozier, Coach Cummings said it on Wednesday, they would need him to be a horse. They would need him to carry a lot of the load, and he has answered the call here in this Friday night at Blankenship Field.
You could tell the determination on his face when he carried that ball. He was not going to be denied that end zone. He fought and scratched and dug and got great pad leverage, drove it in there, and the Wildcats take the lead back. Here with 6 minutes and 6 seconds left in this contest.
Thank you, Mike. 6:06 left, as you just mentioned. In the fourth quarter, there has been a delay, and I don't know why. I don't pretend to know the answers. This is like a lot of my teachers would say on my tests. I just don't know them. The extra point attempt pending, it would make it a 7-point game, forcing Clinton, of course, to score a touchdown and have an extra point in order to tie it. Snap, finally almost on its way, and Clinton jumped off sides. Now, if you're Scott Cummings, do you try to extend this and go for two? I'm of the opinion that you don't go for two until you have to. You don't chase points, especially when you've got the lead. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you totally. If you got the lead, you need to keep the lead.
So Oak Ridge,
go ahead and play it safe and kick the extra point.
Interesting. Oak Ridge has not lined up in their typical extra point unit that they usually do, where they spread the team out and then bring everybody in to kick it. They've just lined up in a straight set all game. Half the distance to the goal line. The ball is at the 1. Extra point. The ball will be down at the 8. And here's another penalty. I'm not sure. It's going to be a false start. So
I think they're trying to freeze David Wilson on this kick. But that
was actually on Oak Ridge. Yeah, that was actually on Oak Ridge. And somehow 6 seconds have ticked off since that touchdown was scored. I'm not exactly sure, but now, or maybe they added it. It's now 6:14 to go. And after this long-awaited extra point is over, when we go to break, we'll come back with 6:14 to go. Oak Ridge up 20-14, trying to make it a 7-point game. Extra point pending. David Wilson to kick. Elmore to hold. Elmore's hold is good. The snap was good, and the kick is best of all. 21-14, Oak Ridge in the lead. The train horn honks, and we'll take a 60-second break and come back to wrap this one up.
Been a really exciting fourth quarter here.
I'm absolutely yelling. I've got to I caught myself just yelling.
Oh, sorry. Keep forgetting that. It's been a great game.
Kick is off from Pearson. It is once again landing in the end zone.
No way.
And as we pause momentarily for our radio folks to join us, we thank you for joining us however you may be joining us tonight. That Pearson kick once again goes into the Cardinal end zone. And the Dragons will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20, needing to go 80 yards to try to tie this one up. 6:14 left to go in the fourth quarter. As we start to set the arrangement, paint the picture, if you will. One important thing to note, Mike, Clinton had to burn 2 timeouts fairly early in that third quarter. They've only got 1 left. If this comes down to a situation where they're in scramble mode, they only have 1 timeout remaining.
Exactly.
6:14 to go. Two running backs in the backfield. Early motion, no call, and Clinton gives the ball off to the right side for a gain of 3. As the guy who scored the last touchdown for the Dragons, it's Chauncey Phelps, the junior, taking the ball off the right tackle.
Brian Kelly to get on the stop for the Wildcat.
As the clock starts to milk down under 6 minutes, there's 5:55 to go. Clinton, not a lot of urgency in here. Neither one of these teams have exactly been in a hurry offensively all game. Clinton, a lot of momentum, just taken back from the Oak Ridge. They give a handoff up the middle to the lumbering Javon Rod, And one of the first times I've seen him with the ball all night. And, he's a big, bruising sort of looking fullback. And that time Oak Ridge was not prepared. They caught him by surprise, and a nice run by Rod to get the first down. They move the chains. It's 1st and 10. Ball on the Clinton 31-yard line. The Dragons with the ball 2 to the right. 1 receiver split down here on the left. Give up the middle again. This time it's Goins, and he's Goins nowhere.
No.
He's stopped at the line of scrimmage by a host of Wildcats.
I tell you, good swarming defense by the Wildcats that time. They got to him very quickly before he could get up any speed whatsoever. Bashawn Niles on the stop there for the Wildcats.
Knowles has had a great game. He got nicked up a little bit earlier in the ball game, and he's fought through it, had a tough break on a fumble, and he's absolutely fought through it and made up for it. 21-14 the score. Oak Ridge leading. Clinton trying to put a drive together. Snap. Pass to the left. It's intercepted by Izzy Mitchell, I thought, and it's actually going to be caught. I apologize sincerely for that mistake as we were blocked momentarily. Izzy looked like he came up with it. It was caught, and there's going to be a penalty on the play. Oak Ridge's coaching staff to our right was clapping. I don't know if that was a joyful clap or a sorrowful clap. I thought it was going to be a penalty on Izzy Mitchell getting there a little bit early. We still do not have the call.
Izzy had the ball, though. How could the penalty be against Izzy?
Clinton actually came out of there with it, and they are going to accept the pass interference penalty, so it will move 15 yards as opposed to that nearly 10-yard completion. So wipe the completion off, but they gain 15 yards with the penalty. Izzy Mitchell, a tough break there. If that's pass interference, it wasn't by much. 1st and 10, ball on the 46-yard line for the Dragons. Give right side. A little bit of running room. He runs into Price Davis. And Davis got there first, but Brandon Hayward came in from that deep safety position to round things out. Clock still ticking as the runner was inbounds. 4:27 to go here in the fourth quarter. Clinton trailing by 7. 2nd and a long 4 here, as this could, depending on how Clinton plays this, and they're not in a rush right now, could potentially be the final drive of this ball game as we slowly start to tick the time off the clock. Same formation, 2 wide receivers to right. Man in motion is Taylor. That's just all eye candy, though, as they hand the ball straight up the middle. They're trying to get the first down running the ball, and they won't do it on 2nd down. They needed 4. They got 2.5. It'll be 3rd and a short 2 for the Dragons, and no doubt this point in the game, this is 4-down territory. Keith at quarterback, a threat with his legs as usual. 3:43 to go in the 4th period. Clinton trailing Oak Ridge 21-14 on the road, trying to win at this vaunted Blankenship Field for the first time since 2009. Darian Stone was the quarterback. Clinton fans will remember him. Oak Ridge fans will remember him, maybe not in quite the same light. 3rd and 2. 3:23 to go. They've got to get the snap off. They do. Quick route to the right. It's incomplete. Incomplete. They threw it to Taylor. The ball came hot. Taylor was not quite ready. It could have been deflected. Regardless, the ball falls incomplete, and that's a call you call knowing ahead of time that you're going for it on 4th.
Yeah, exactly. And they are going for it on 4, no doubt about it. They're
Iron Man strikes up from the PA system. The fans from Oak Ridge need to get into this one. 3:15 on the clock. 4th and 2. Ball on the Oak Ridge 46. Clinton, give right side. And there was a man in the backfield and could not quite get to him.
He got it first.
It's a good spot from Oak Ridge. I thought Clinton clearly got it, and it's not clear. It's going to be close. I thought Clinton had it, but it's going to be very, very close. The ball is spotted just a few feet away from the Clinton sideline, which is where the chain gang is. There's a referee's official's timeout on the field, A couple of Wildcats down, a Dragon down. We're going to keep it right here because right now we don't know if it's a first down or if it's turnover on downs. Coach Darrell Keith
I don't know
pleading with the officials
they're
saying
still
it's
trying
a
to
first
figure
down.
out where they're spotting this ball, Alec.
Well, the referee has his foot
super close,
and they are just feet away from the Clinton sideline. And of course, Clinton's sort of chirping, saying, hey, he's got it, as any team would. 3:07 to go here in the 4th. It was 4th and 2. The give went right side to Chauncey Phelps, who's had himself a really nice second half for the Dragons. Couple of Oak Ridge players down. One is Galloway. The other is Hope. Hope is back up to his feet. He's had a rough go of it tonight. He's been banged up a little bit. Galloway still getting worked on by Brian Leffler. Let's take a quick 30-second timeout break, and we'll come back hopefully with the decision on that 4th down play.
They're getting ready to measure it right now. I don't think they've got it.
Let's go!
We got it. It's our ball. By inch. By 1 inch. Look at that. You see it? 1 inch.
I'm going to throw it to you, and you're going to say by 1 inch.
Let me know.
Well, we always like being the bearer of good news, and while we're away, Oak Ridge gets the ball back because Clinton was short by how much, Mike?
1 inch. What a tremendous stop by the Wildcats to hold the Dragons. And this very key play right there, that was probably the play of the game right there for the Wildcats defensively. Defensively, for sure.
3:07 to go in this one. Oak Ridge now holding on by a thread to this 7-point lead. It's 21-14. Wildcats will start this possession, a possession they hope is their final possession. 1st and 10 from their own 44-yard line. Clinton can only stop the clock one time. Oak Ridge will bring in their power set again. 2 fullbacks and a running back in DeJavis Dozier. Dozier gets a block from Hunley and bounces out to the right side. Only gains a yard, but the clock starts to tick. Tick, 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 tick. Under 3 minutes it goes now. 2nd and 8 upcoming. If you're Oak Ridge, Mike, do you try anything sneaky with the pass game, maybe a play action, or do you just keep running the clock?
You just keep running the clock. You know, right now, pound it. Pound it right down their throat if
Oak
you can.
Ridge short-handed this ball game, as Clinton may be too. I'm not sure, but Oak Ridge for sure missing several key players, weapons offensively. As there's still 24 seconds on the play clock, they don't need to snap it. And wisely, at the last second, Peyton looks up towards the south end zone, towards where Razzleberries is, and looks at the game clock and says, hey, we got 12 more seconds on this clock. 2:18 to go in the game and counting. 2nd and 8 upcoming. Play clock down to 6, down to 5. The snap is off. Give. Right side, Dozier. Breaks 2 tackles across the 50. Got the first down. Stiff arms a man down to the 40. And across the 40 down to the 39-yard line, where he's tackled, unfortunately, out of bounds. The clock will stop, but it's a first down, and more specifically, a 10 bank of Oak Ridge. First down, the Javis Dozier MVP type of performance for this game. He has no quit in him.
My hat's off to the guys up front that time. Elijah Israel, Austin Hill, Lane Malcody, Truett Tex. They did a great job blocking that time.
And maybe Clinton did, maybe the ball was spotted inbounds. If not, it was a curious use of a timeout. We'll keep it right here because Clinton does use their 3rd and final timeout.
Yep.
Clinton, from this point on, cannot stop the clock. It is going to be extremely, extremely hard for them to even get the ball back. 1 first down, milks it. Mike, I'm not great at math. I'm not going to attempt to be great at math, or even good for that matter. So because of that, I'm just going to say it's going to be close. If Oak Ridge doesn't get this first down, you got to obviously milk the clock down. What are you telling your quarterback and your backs right now if you're Coach Scott Cummings?
Do not fumble the ball. Hold on to the ball. Don't do anything stupid. Try not to get any penalties right here. They're killer.
On the clock as both teams trot back out on the field. Oak Ridge very patient in their trot. Clock is stopped after the final Clinton timeout of the ball game. 2:02 again to go in this one. Ball at the Dragon 39. Oak Ridge driving. They're not looking for points. They're looking for time off the clock. 1st and 10 from that 39-yard line. Jumbo package. Sharp under center. And Oak Ridge false start. False start from Oak Ridge, as it was the guard, the tackle on that left side. Probably not used to playing tackle, as that jumbo formation has not been used a ton this year, except in late game situations. The good news is, again, obviously, if you score a touchdown, we'd celebrate. But the good news is, really in a very odd situation here, you're not necessarily worried about yardage. You just want time off the clock.
We just want clock management.
That's not a huge mistake. Oak Ridge gets the ball. It goes to Dozier. He's going to get pulled by Simon and just powers his way across the line of scrimmage. Now for a gain of 5. Now he goes for 6. And finally, he's going to be halted right there as the ball is going to be marked. Well, they're going to call it 5 because they're going to spot it back at the original line of scrimmage, which is the Dragon 39-yard line. 1:45 to go in this one. Oak Ridge leading 21-14. Clinton cannot stop the clock. They're completely out of timeouts here with 1:38 and counting on the clock. Peyton Sharp not getting signals. He is getting a direct talking to from head coach and offensive coordinator Scott Cummings. There's a little bit of confusion. Oak Ridge still has all 3 timeouts. I would not be surprised if they didn't use one. They will. No.
Official
The
timeout.
officials are going to call a timeout.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because it's actually going to allow Oak Ridge to get a substitution on, the substitution that was probably part of that
You're right.
confusion that they had.
You're right. That lineman.
Sideline warning on the Wildcats. And, Mike, I don't know if we'll have to ask Coach maybe after the game if that was intentional. The sideline warning, because they hadn't been warned, it's not actually going to cost the Oak Ridge yardage. But
No.
what it did get is Oak Ridge an opportunity to get their substitution in.
I wonder if that was intentional. That was pretty slick if it was.
Chance of scoreboard raining from the Wildcat student section, and this one not quite over yet. 1:24 remaining. It's 2nd and 9. Clock will start on the snap. Oak Ridge with it, 2nd and 9 from the Clinton 38-yard line. Clinton with the late substitution in. They're getting new linemen in, trying to stay fresh, trying to get a disruption, as it looks like now Brandon Hayward in as the upback. They're going to simply try to kneel this. I believe mathematically Oak Ridge can run this clock out as long as they don't lose possession or do anything that would not be good, for lack of a better
They
term.
haven't even started running the clock.
Clock actually is rolling. I thought it wouldn't go until the play clock was not running. The game
No, it
clock
wasn't.
was, which
It
is
wasn't.
weird. Clearly a mistake from the officials. I would not be happy if I was Clinton.
Play clock
That
was
ball
not
is
running.
kneeled with 51 seconds to go. Oak Ridge will snap this one more time. It will be 3rd and 9, but that really doesn't matter.
No.
Because as you can hear this crowd come to their feet.
They know.
The
We got it.
Wildcats know, Mike Sheehan, you know, we're
Yeah.
one play away from this rivalry continuing to swing the pendulum in favor of the Cardinal and Grave.
On a very tough, hard-fought win against the Clinton Dragons, 21-14.
Snap is off, and Sharp takes a knee. And as the clock ticks under 20,
That's it.
Oak Ridge is going to rush the field. Their players respectfully sort of go towards the Clinton sideline, as I don't know, are these teams going to shake hands? They are. 3, 2, 1. Mike Sheehan, death, taxes, and Oak Ridge continues to defeat the Dragons. This one was unlike a lot of ones in the past. It was a very hard-fought game from both sides, very much down to the wire. Give Clinton a lot of credit. Give Oak Ridge a lot of credit. Give these fan bases a lot of credit. They came out. They knew it was going to be a tough game. The coaching staffs, the players, they all knew it. But you know what? They didn't know the outcome. But now we do. It's 21-14. Oak Ridge wins it. Let's take a 3-minute timeout and come back to Blankenship Field. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to listen. I'm going to bring it back in from the field.